Hey everyone, I didn't expect to be here tonight because we lost our electricity and our internet and everything because we had high winds and it took everything out and we just got it back. So they said there wasn't going to be back till 6 in the morning. So that was a pleasant surprise. Let me just put our tags in here so people can find us. That. Now I'm going to put this. So first we'll talk about the Redwine trial and then we will go and do the reenactment. So let me just get these tags in, and I apologize, but YouTube doesn't want to do this for me on live streams. I don't know why, but okay, let me just see. Okay, let's keep that like that. And let's hit that. Save that. Okay, all right. Now I'm going into the live stream. Here we go. Okay, hello Pat Miller, hi Nicole, Tina, Tracy, John Crimes, hello there. Newfie, Pat L, Isabel, Miss Mary, Kathy, Slam RN, Hazel, Move to, Carolyn Parrish. Now, the Redwine case was, just so you're familiar with it, because a lot of us weren't familiar with it when I went through it. Dylan Redwine is the little boy. Another case out of Colorado. I was going to say freaking Colorado because that's what it feels like, freaking Colorado. Like, what is going on over there? And the father has been under blaring suspicion for a long time, right? So the trial was supposed to start, I thought it was October 28th, and I was checking and it wasn't. And that's happened before. So let's see what's going on, because it did start, and I want to go over that. And then I want to go over Scott Peterson. Now, with Scott Peterson, some people were telling me they never even saw those crime scene photos that we showed last night. So that was so good. Hi, Marianne. Hi, Move To. Hi, Flower Girl Phillips. Hi, Deborah, Nana Patty. Hi, Calm Collective. How are you? Sumac, Jan, Lavina. Yeah, I don't know. We had, thank you, John. We had internet. It's just like you don't realize how much you depend on it for everything. And you're like, what the freak is happening? Jimmy got the generator up. And so we had, we have a wood burning fireplace. We did that. Then we put up like space heaters because it's cold today. It's like 30 degrees, but it's supposed to be in the 60s later on in the week. But anyway, that's what happened. And then it just came back on. So good stuff. Okay. So let me go to Tina. So if I didn't say hi to you, hi Newfie. Newfie, that's why I didn't get your group up today, because I haven't had internet. So I'm going to need like an extra day to recoup and get that up. But let me just pull this up and see what's going on in here. So, beautiful little boy, this still in Redwine. His mother became an activist after his death and, got out there passing laws and stuff. There's been controversy surrounding, she came under scrutiny too, what, just as in victims of crimes. It's just crazy what they do to people. But let me see here. Let me just get his picture up. Okay, there we go. So the prosecution and defense in the case of the Colorado man on trial for the murder got into a squabble on Friday after concerns were raised about probing into potential jurors' backgrounds. The Durango Herald reported that 2,000 potential are being sifted through to find the best panel for the murder trial of the Colorado man, Mark Redwine. Now, I don't know if you guys went back and you watched the Dr. Phil's and you watched the other interviews that have happened over the years. If you haven't, you should go on and do it. So Mark's accused of killing his 13-year-old Dylan Redwine. And you remember what we talked about. There were some compromising photos that supposedly came out of his father in a diaper, that he belonged to some kind of a baby fetish. And that's supposedly the motive that's here, that Dylan found these pictures and his father was embarrassed, and then they have surveillance footage of when Dylan didn't want to go see his father, and it was over Thanksgiving, and then his father picked him up. They went to Walmart, they have this surveillance photo, and they went to McDonald's, and the whole time they're on the surveillance footage, they're not interacting with each other. They're like just standing off. You could see they're not getting along well. And then the next day, his father said that he went to work and that Dylan was sleeping or something. But he claims that there was cereal when he came home. And then Dylan just was gone, missing. And a friend that little Dylan texted that he was going to be at his house that morning. Dylan never showed up. So there was evidence found in the father's house, blood evidence on the coffee table. So let's see what else is going on with this jury now. So Redwine's lawyer, John Moran, told the judge that he had concerns over extremely private information obtained on over 1,000 potential jurors, including any histories of attempted suicides, SA, or child abuse. And this John Moran went on to say, this rises to the level of an outrageous governmental conduct. Moran said, it is illegal for them to have taken this information in the first place. It is criminal, Your Honor. Moran also argued that the defense didn't know how long the prosecution had the documents before sharing them. And the district attorney, Christian Champagne, weighed in, calling Moran's accusations outrageous. These allegations are so outrageous, he said, and so over the top. I can't hold my tongue, Your Honor, Champagne said. To cast such an aspersion, I think it's unethical. I think Mr. Moran should be personally sanctioned. He knows better, and he's using the streaming platform to prejudice this community. Champagne explained that the background check information came from a record-keeping program at the sheriff's office called Record Management Services. There is nothing wrong with anything that's happened by looking at these records and proactively giving it to the defense, he said. Now, District Judge Jeffrey Wilson ultimately stopped discussion and called it a big ado about next to nothing. He ended the hearing by saying he didn't see the matter as a big deal. I'm done. I have nothing to say to you. I don't want to hear you talk, Champagne told Moran after the court hearing. Okay. Follow the law, Moran shot back. Okay, and let me get this up here. So we're not, the trial hasn't, so we're still doing stuff with the jury, and this trial has been postponed so much, it feels like it's never really going to start. I don't know whether how far out they are now with this. This happened back in 2012, okay? And at that time, his bones weren't found until 6 months later in June of 2013. And the father said some really weird things to the to the brother, like, well, they have to find his skull to determine the cause of death, and his skull was buried someplace else. It was found, but that was found in if I remember correctly, it was November. Yeah, that it was found, and it was. Let me see here. Wasn't just in June of 2013. A few of Dylan's bones and part of his shirt, a sock, and his shoestring were found about 5 miles away from Durango, and searchers found the remains in an area difficult to get to, especially for a young boy and for someone who doesn't know the area well. This is what I mean. You have to watch this guy's interviews if you haven't seen them. When he talks about what could have possibly happened to Dylan, you know, he's saying that Dylan maybe wandered into an area he didn't know, and he wants to, you know, he's like thinking about how Dylan died, and they're really bizarre, the interviews. He claimed he went to work, ran errands on that morning of November 19th, 2012, and he left his son sleeping on the couch, and when he returned, Dylan was gone. He figured his son went out, but Dylan didn't return, and he wasn't even going out on the searches. That's what the ex-wife was saying. And then his former wife, the first ex-wife, what do you call her? The first ex-wife was saying that he had a very bad temper. She kind of thought this could have been her kids. And so she, came out there and said, I 100% think he did this. They both went on Dr. Phil, him and Dylan's mother. They went on Dr. Phil, so you should try to catch up on that. But, I mean, that's what we have. So it looks like it's just going to be like a battle the whole way through to even get this to start. So, anybody else have anything to add on that? Any other stuff? Let me see, I'm back. I can see the chat now. You guys have anything? Hey, Renee. He looks like a chat room regular spitfire. Well, not here. Maybe in maybe in the drama channels. Oh, that's good, Nana Patty. You're feeling better, Deborah? Okay. Hi, Brianna. How are you? They were on Dr. Phil. It was a while ago, Brianna, but you can search it and you'll find it. They were also on, I believe it was Investigation Discovery is the other one. There's a few interviews with him. Go and watch them. And I mean, we could do a review of it, but yeah, the Dr. Phil episode was really early on, I believe. At least I don't see names like. But we stay classy in chat. Petersons live in a very nice area, but there's a lot of homeless that go through. Yes, as we've heard, we've heard that as we've been reading the trial. And, reading this trial, like I said, has really helped get me back with this case. It was my mother that followed this case way more than I did. I was working full-time at that time, and this wasn't televised. That's why we have so many court drawings. And back then, not everything was accessible as we have it at our fingertips now. So, yes, I knew like the major points, and when they would televise something, yes, but I didn't know all the little intricacies of this trial. So I am enjoying the trial read-through because it is getting me totally up to speed, if you will, with this. And they are going to try the penalty phase, and they are going to introduce new evidence. So I think we all need to get up there and get involved. No, Ivy Lynn, I know it feels like I'm really close, right? You know what it is, Ivy Lynn? I'll tell you what it is. We lost our electricity today, and then everything shut down, and when I came on, all my stuff was all crazy. Is it that bad, Ivy? I'll try to fix it for tomorrow. You used to watch Greta Van Sisson. get trial. Yes, that's right. Or like Nancy Grace, I think my mother was doing that, right? So, but we didn't get all the every little thing that we're seeing now. You watched cases because it was so close to your home, Calm Collective? Yeah, we had another neighbor come on, and someone that lived a little bit behind Lacey during the time that this happened. Redwine took one shoe from every pair of shoes. Yes, right. Yep. Yeah, we did go through that in previous, when we were starting to get up there. Oh, thank you, Mystic. Okay, I don't want to scare anybody by getting too close to the camera. Okay. Are you close to where Action Park is? You're watching that today? Oh, well, kind of, yeah. And you've got that thing on there. I told my daughter, we went on our senior class trip there, and she goes, did you go on the Alpine slide? And I go, the Alpine slide was my favorite thing. Yeah, if you're watching that documentary. So let me get, it needs to move to my right and back. Okay. I will take care of that, all right? All right. Let me just pull up the Peterson stuff. Now, where is my... I'll just move back a little. You want me to move back here? I can sit. But when I have to read and stuff. Okay. Let me just get, because now I don't know why, like everything is messed up. Okay, I can close this one out. And let me find my trial transcripts. Hopefully we can get some, it was fun to have new readers on the other night too, to hear new people in the community. We never get really any men on, so anybody that wants to read a man's part, otherwise we have to be the men. But that's okay. It's okay, we'll take it. So tonight, I think this is probably going to be, I don't know, they took all day for the one witness who we're going to look at next, who is, I'll tell you who it is. Okay. And do you want me just to pull up the exhibits here? I'll just pull these up to refresh anybody that wasn't here yesterday. With, we had just looked at these. This was the mop bucket that was outside. Now, the one officer that said things look suspicious had said that there was a watermark here that looked as if maybe the mop had been put down. But then by the time the picture was taken, that water, the moisture in that area was gone. Okay? And then all of these pictures, he was showing the hallway, you know, looking into the master bedroom right there. And that is one of the bathrooms. And then they talked about this curling iron that you see over here. Okay. That's looking into the nursery. This is another shot of the nursery. There's that, what they call the life preserver, welcome aboard, that supposedly, I think Scott made and hung up to show that he was so excited. Here's the glider. And this was the master bedroom. And this, they talked about the way this bed was made. Whoops. And they talked about the closet doors being open, and he couldn't remember if they were open to begin with or they were open for the pictures. And then this is Lacey's purse. And it's hung up in the closet. Then they talked about how they took it and put it on the bed. And this was another view of the hallway. This was a guest room. And then these were the duffel bags. He said that duffel bag, see over here, was hanging off. Okay. And then you've got, there was a duffel bag right over here on the floor. I wonder what book. Look at that little book right there. It's like pulled out like some. Okay, and then this is another view of looking into the nursery. And then this was the table that was set up with the little crackers, the Christmas crackers. And the Christmas tree, if you see, these are the chairs of the dining room table. Here's the fireplace in the dining room. The tree is right here, has one big present here, and looks like Scott's jacket hanging there. Okay, and this is the kitchen with the phone book open on the counter, the knives, they mention the knives, and then there's a bag of some sort. And they talked about all of these glasses. And Scott said, like, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's 4. And then there was a mug. Where's the mug? Oh, here. Right here's the mug. And then this was a look into the living room area. And the living room. Now there is actually this door right here, because look at these chairs, okay? And we're going to see them in another spot. Like here it just looks like that door, it's very, like the pictures are deceiving. And then they talked about these pillows over here on the floor. These right here. And then she had some boxes out there. They may have been Christmas decorations. The cubbies that they had here in this wall, and the Christmas cards were in there, and then the washer dryer. So this is the same washer dryer. It's right off the living room, the washer dryer. And this is, I think that's a door, I want to say to the powder room. Yeah, I think it is the powder room right here, the half bath. And then, yeah, this is the those dirty rags that were on the washer and dryer. And then you see, here's the door. Here's that chair that you can see from the kitchen. And this is that rug that officer was saying was folded up like an accordion against this door. And then it was, he calls this straightened out. So yeah, those were the pictures we saw. Let me see here. Okay. So hopefully everybody's up to speed on that. And let me just get the number to call in. Okay, hang on. Okay. All right, so that's in there. Now let's go to what we're doing today, because I think there are some more pictures for today. Today we're going to start with Matthew Spurlock from the Modesto PD. And we've got some more pictures, so let me grab these pictures. They're not nice like the other ones that I have to do these individually. So they show us, and we've seen these, I believe it was in the opening statements, but these are the maternity pants with a white shirt. And I think that's just something that they could find. And then, hang on, they have the maternity pants with a black top. And these are what they showed to her sister. Remember when they were saying, do they look more like these or like these? It's like being at the eye doctor. You always choose wrong. And then these look exactly the same. Those are another pair of tan pants with a black top. And then there's a close-up. Now this is, you'll remember that Lacey was wearing this top right here. in a picture that's there where she's sitting in the chair. So, and then they want a close-up of that shirt, which would be this one that they took and admitted into evidence. And then Exhibit 44 is this, which is a, Exhibit 44 is black and tan blouse with bell sleeves. And then Exhibit 45 is right here, hang on. Exhibit 45 is black and tan top, evidence item number 218. I'm just going to say gray and white, but okay. And then Exhibit 46 is a yellow floral sleeveless ruffled top. Exhibit 47 is going to be that blouse right here. I guess somebody from the crime scene has it pictured in People's 46 from Lacey's closet. Exhibit 48 right there is red cream floral ruffled blouse. Exhibit 49, because this is what's going to be talked about in the testimony, is a close-up of the blouse. And Exhibit 50 is that blouse from Lacey's closet. And for some reason, okay, there are 2 more exhibits that are sealed, and I'll tell you what they are, but they're sealed because they're autopsy photos. So it's the photo pant tags, and the next one is the photo pant tags with highlighted number. And those again are autopsy photos, and they are sealed. And if we have time, let me see. We have Evers. Let me see. John Evers. Oh, wait a second. Hold on a minute, guys. We have a, hold on. So no, I'm mistaken. They did Letzinger and Matthew Spurlock and Philip Williams from Mother's Work, Inc. That's going to be about the close. So we should be able to get through at least those 2. And then John Evers would be the one after that. And then we're going to be seeing a lot of exhibits after that. So those are the close, but then we're going to be seeing stuff from the OBGYN and the boat launch and all of that good stuff. So hang on one second. Okay, let me just, where's my, hang on. Okay, let me just see if I can try to, anything here. Trying to fix this, see if I can. Here, now I might have been able to fix it. Let me see a little, maybe a little bit. Here, see if that's any better. That might be a little bit better. Lisa, I've got your Happy Mail back there. I didn't get to open it yet because we didn't have electricity. I have your Happy Mail back there. I'll open it tomorrow, but thank you. Is that better? Hopefully a little better. Okay. And I am still, have they arrested? Why? What's going on in that? Why do you ask that, Mystic? Not that I've heard. Oh, thanks, Len Warren. Okay. All right, so we'll wait here. I put the number out, so what's going on? Who? Prince William has the virus? Is that what you said, Ivy? Hi, Snow Remover. Hi, Jen H. What happened? No one else here? Oh, I'm sure Scooter's here, Snow Remover. Why, is there a problem? Nightbot's here. Well, you need a mod? Why? What happened? Sorry, I was looking out here. Scooter should be here. I'm trying to catch up and see what's going on. Okay, let me see this. Yeah, that, I mean, don't even get, those are just, yeah, okay. Hi, Nana T. Hi, Luna. Hi, Maggie. Read my email. It's about the burglary. You sent it to me on 10/27. Oh dear. You sent it to the True Crime Chat, not Mommy Ramblings, right? Because I am never going to find it in Mommy Ramblings. I have to open that email tomorrow, and that's crazy. I know it's... Hold on a minute. I'm getting text or something. I don't know what Scooter's doing. Probably it's about Scooter or something. I don't even know what I'm getting. Scooter, are you... If you're texting me, Scooter... Hold on. It's Lisa, I think. Hold on. Lisa's dad had an accident with the table saw today. Can we call the channel? Where's Maggie? Yes, but I didn't get to it today, Newfie, because I had no electricity and internet for up until just very recently. So I'll get to that tomorrow. Hopefully, nothing else happens, right? Okay. Let me check the email. Do you know, I know this is going to sound like a silly little thing, but Gmail changed the colors of the little envelope icons that are on your little tabs. It is driving me crazy because I keep looking for my Gmail and I'm not used to seeing them. Oh yeah, he cut up his fingers pretty bad. She sent me a picture and then he had to have metal taken out of them and stuff. And she said her father enjoyed watching it, but he didn't cut them off or anything from what I can see. He doctored them up with paper towels and electrical tape when he went to the hospital. And Lisa and her mother said, yeah, he's okay. She said he enjoyed watching them do whatever they had to do to get the metal out. Hi, Anna. Yeah, I don't know why they have to change things that are not broken, but just the difference in the icon is really, I don't know, it sounds like a really silly thing, but I'm sorry, it's really bothering me because I keep thinking, like, where's my Gmail? It's not there. That's a real man. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Okay, let me look. Maggie, I'm really hoping that... Oh, I get behind the Modesto burglary? Okay, so you want me to read this? Okay. Dear Carolyn, I live in Modesto, and so it seems a lot of people live near Scott Peterson. I have a house a couple of blocks from their home. In December of 2002, I had just had my second back surgery. My husband and I had a men's Christian rehab home. It was not even a mile away for the time being we were living there. It was not even a mile away, and for the time being we were living there. I'm sorry. There were 7 houses altogether on a little dirt road, and we would have up to 40 men at a time. That Christmas Eve, I remember seeing a helicopter hovering over the neighborhood, which meant they were looking for someone. Within a week, the parole officer stopped by and had to get an account for the sex offender's whereabouts on Christmas Eve. They had to verify all of the sex offenders for Modesto, and we had 5, and all were home except for one who was gone on a pass for 4 hours. Maybe within a week, a man came to the home early one morning. After Bible study, the man approached my husband. He said that the night before, he had been at a friend's house, and these guys came in with a bag of jewelry. They were in a rush to get rid of it. It came from the burglary across the street, the Medinas, right? Oh, that one from the missing pregnant lady? Oh, I'm sorry. From the missing pregnant lady is what they said? They didn't want to get blamed for something they didn't do. My husband told him to stay in our living room while we go to the parole office to connect him to the authorities. Wait, I'm a little bit confused. I think what you mean to say, the jewelry came from the Medina's house, but they didn't want to get blamed for Lacey. Is that what you're saying? Because there's no break-in at the Peterson house. No forced entry, but there is at the Medina house. I think that's what you mean, Maggie, right? My husband told them to stay in our living room while we go get the parole office to connect him to the authorities. We had one of our men with him. The parole agent made a call and put my husband on the phone, and within 5 minutes, a big black car with blacked-out windows pulled up, took the guy away. He didn't come back. Later, my husband told me that they had solved the burglary. In my mind, I was thinking possibly they had something to do with Lacey. My husband said no. The police were happy that the burglary was solved, so all of their detectives could concentrate on Scott, their words. I knew nothing more except what was in the news, and I have been enjoying hearing the court records since it wasn't televised. Thank you for what you do. You're welcome. So let me just see if that's what you mean. Medina's house. Okay. So, are you trying to say anything about, what, I don't know, what, something that could have went on there? Hi, 61. How are you? Hi, Jay Quinn. Whisper to me. Liquid Band-Aid stuff. Yeah, don't forget to hit the likes, because for some reason we've got very few people in here tonight. So really, I think the more likes we have, the more YouTube promotes it. So among the live streams, so that would be good if you guys could hit the likes. You're doing good. Slow night, not too cold here. Yeah, we just lost our electricity. I mean, electricity just came back on, and internet. And it's cold here. How could Lacey's jewelry? It wasn't Lacey's jewelry, Bianna. I think it was just the way it was written. She said it was the jewelry from the Medina's house, but they didn't want to get blamed for something they didn't know, so they just wanted to hand it off. The news people were saying the burglary couldn't happen when they were. The news people were saying the burglary couldn't happen when they were there put front. Do you want to call in, Maggie, and explain this? I think a lot of it is getting lost in the translation here. No, Mystic, we had very high winds, though, and that's what took out the internet and the electric. It wasn't supposed to come on till 6 in the morning, so we were lucky that it came on, because I wasn't even planning to be here, because I was just ready to write you guys a community post that it couldn't come on. Well, it's all going to depend, Kathy, if also they decide to do the whole trial over, then a lot can change for Scott. Do you are you in Slack? Or I'll just send you the number. I don't even know. Did I put the number? I should have put the number in there. Hopefully I did. Hang on. I'll just send you the number. Maybe you can call in and explain what you mean, okay? You fell in a rabbit's hole last night and got upset with all the trolls lying about they are doing it to take down a YouTuber. Lou, I don't even know what do you mean with what is even going on with, there's like nothing happening with that out there, is there? I'm not sure what you mean by that. If you're talking about the one YouTuber, the one with the ball, no, what that has nothing to do with SL, nothing at all with her. That has to do with something that happened back in 2019, a defamation from another, a defamation suit from another creator. So, yep, that's what that has to do. They'll try to infer the burglars did something to her, but, oh boy, you know, I don't see how they could do that because the Medinas left. Hi, Dreaming. Hi, Alicia. How will they explain the cement weights and the boat that no one knew about? I don't know. Please try to do more Watt's phone analysis. You're great at it. Thanks. But I truly think, you know, there's not like a lot more to be said except that they really do think or treat him like he's that little boy that if they don't say nice things about him, he'll wish them away to the cornfield. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Sophie Long. Oops. Here's Maggie. Wake up, Maggie. Hello. Hi, Maggie. Oh, she's connecting her audio. Okay. They use it against her, among other things, spreading lies. while doing it.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm sorry that was confusing.
Oh, no problem. We got to talk to you. So tell me. Tell me. Okay, so you ran this Christian home, and these men were what was like a halfway house.
Yeah, they were with us anywhere from a year to more, sometimes. Parole would place the men, some of them that would get out, they would come into our home. Some of the men were from under the bridge, and none of them could afford to pay. But we had our ways of, I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. Yeah, I know it's easy to say, but yeah,
We taught them a skill or sent them back to school, or, so they would be able to go out and be productive.
Okay, so now do you still have that house?
No, we had it till 2005.
Okay. And so it must have been how many did you say you had 40 men?
Yeah, we had up to 40 men at a time. We had 7 houses that we renovated. One house was a total kitchen. But at first we used the kitchen out of the house that my husband and I and my son lived in.
So you had 7 houses right in the area?
Yeah, right next door. It was a little dirt road.
Okay.
In the county. It was just on the other side of Yosemite, so it wasn't that far from the neighborhood. I still have a house over there in La Loma District, a couple of blocks away from where Scott and Lacey's house were. But that Christmas, we would always have men coming in, maybe even staying just a day long enough to shower and eat a meal. So it wasn't unusual that this man came in right after, during Bible study.
Mm-hmm.
But all I know is my husband says, get in the car. We're going to go downtown to the parole office. And Randy knew that the parole agent would know who to get a hold of right away, because there was a hotline, but they were just taking messages. And so I thought in my mind maybe they did have something to do with it, because it was all brand new. It was, we weren't even sure of the girl's name. It was the pregnant lady, that was missing. But they weren't talking about tools, which I've learned listening to you, that also tools were taken.
Yeah.
It was jewelry that I heard about, and that they were in a rush to get rid of it because they didn't want to get caught with it and get blamed for the missing lady.
But what about, and there was also a safe that was missing.
Yes. And the man didn't talk about a safe. It was just a bag of jewelry. The news people were saying there's no way a burglary could happen while we were out here standing, because they were claiming to be out in front of the house 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, there's a concern that they're thinking that the burglary happened sooner.
Yeah, but okay, the Medinas gave a timeline of when they left, and it seems like that they left after Scott's truck was gone, and so
that makes it cut and dry. I mean, I don't see how anyone could think that the burglary happened sooner when the people left later. And so, like I say, I'm getting the facts with you as you're reading it, and I really appreciate hearing all of that. But I'm hearing more about Modesto than I really want to. I grew up in that area, so I can remember going down the dry creek in the summertime, but as a kid.
Do you remember when, like you said, you remember the helicopter, but do you remember all the chaos with the media and everything?
I do. I remember driving through the neighborhood, not necessarily going by their house, but going down Encina and seeing all the satellite dishes and the vans and the zoo. It on TV it showed when they brought Scott back from down south and all the people. It was like a mob standing out front of the jail as they pulled into the driveway, and they're yelling at him, and it was something out of a movie. You know, it didn't look real. Mm-hmm. But where they moved the trial, it was kind of close to Modesto. So maybe this time it will go further. What do you think? I mean, are they going to take a chance?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's all going to depend, I think, on the other decision, on the trial itself, if that's going to be retried. Because, right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know at this point. Before I would say no way, and now I'm saying, like, yeah, I think there probably are. I don't know. I mean, it's just, everything is just so crazy now.
Well, for Scott, he's so fortunate to have sisters that are so dedicated.
Well, sister-in-law, that's his sister-in-law that's so dedicated. His sister is actually the one that wrote the book that her brother's guilty, right? But it's the sister-in-law that for the last 15 years has dedicated her life basically to this. She went to law school. She's in law school right now.
That's amazing.
That's quite an investment of time and energy into this, right?
And his mother, she passed away.
Yes.
Already. So it's amazing what 20 years can do, or 18 years, can do. People evolve and life goes on. But
right, because Ron Gransky is no longer alive. And Lacey's father, I don't believe, is alive any longer. Her mother's alive. Her sisters, obviously, I believe they're both, they're okay. Her brother, Brent. But, yeah.
I saw her mother in a grocery store not too long after all this, when it was real fresh. And oh my God, my heart, it just went out to her. You could just see the pain she was carrying with her. And here she's trying to grocery shop. And of course, I didn't bother her or nothing, but it just, you could tell the empathy I was feeling for her. It was so strong and heartbreaking. It's just been a total nightmare for her.
Well, I appreciate it. Tracy, no, they say there is new evidence. Go listen to what happened when this was ruled on, that they can have the trial is going to move forward for the penalty phase. They both said it, his sister-in-law and his attorney, that they are looking forward to bringing the new evidence that they have since then. It's new evidence. They're not talking about the jury misconduct or the judge misconduct. That's not what that's about. That's why they got the to retry the death penalty, the penalty phase. But they said they're bringing new evidence to this. And they asked them, well, what new evidence? And they said, we cannot divulge that. It would, mess up the investigation, compromise the investigation. So that's not what it is. It's something else that they're bringing. Could be about this burglary. I don't know. Well, you mean there's only, so much they could bring. You just wonder why However, he allegedly transported Lacey from the house to his truck, right? That there were no cameras back there that were catching him. They weren't a big thing back then. But what about all these homeless people? Can you imagine if someone, and the homeless people that were moving in and out through there, if they had seen anything? But I guess they were all questioned, but
the
too
people
bad.
that did the burglary weren't homeless. They were from the neighborhood where our men's home was. And we call it Airport.
Mm-hmm.
And where a bunch, how can I be nice about this? It's an incorporated area. It's a lot of people do drugs over there, and they were from that area that did the burglary. So homeless, yes, littering and going through your garbage and sometimes sleeping on your front lawn. I mean, that's the nuisance from the homeless per se. Burglaries and things like that are more from the neighborhood to support their drug habit.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, but was it more or less a safe area, or were there lots of things happening that you saw while you lived there?
What can I say? It is a nuisance over there, right? It's a rental house that I have over there now. I moved to another area, and comparing the two areas, it's like night and day. Just because you have the Mission right down the street, on the other side of Yosemite. And then they kick them out in the morning. So the homeless have to scatter. And of course they head for the park. And then you have the Dry Creek where they can go down and hide or hibernate or go sleep all day or, whatever their business is, collecting cans, whatnot. But her right around the corner from Lacey's house are doctored houses. I mean, Edgebrook is very exquisite and very nice homes, so it's like a borderline of night and day in the neighborhood.
Okay, Calm Collective, I think she also lives in that area, or did live in that area. She said, I have seen the people in Modesto that walk around. I don't know if they're homeless or not, but a lot of crazies in that area. I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't know how else to put it.
No, and I agree. You have your meth heads and your drug addicts, and then the homeless are more likely drinking, and people that need mental health. They're not getting their meds, or, I mean, in the men's home, we never hurt for population. We always had our houses full.
Right.
And it was a grassroots program that my husband and I did.
But you didn't hear of anybody kids or adults going missing in the area during that time? Like,
no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. So that's, not a lot of abductions or anything like that happening on a regular basis, so that if somebody was going to say, they were trafficking or whatever.
No. No, we don't have that problem.
But I'm just saying, it would have been something had one of these people that were going in and out, who knows, like you said, they could be going through the trash. Maybe they hid out, he didn't see them. And can you imagine if they did see him?
Right.
And they could describe something that only they would know if it was true, that would have been something, right?
Right. And the fact that there was also neighbors that swear they saw her walking the dog that morning, and and maybe that's something that the Scott side's going to come up with. That could be a possibility.
Yeah, we haven't come across them in the testimony. The neighbors that so far that have testified have said they didn't see her. They found the dog. Was that Karen service woman found the dog, but never saw Lacey walking the dog.
There was a neighbor from my house that I don't know what program it was, Dateline or something, that they did a program on it. And she said, oh, they probably thought it was me. I was walking the dog. And I'll tell you what, I've never seen her walk her dog a day in her life. So it's like people want to be on TV. People want the attention or be a part.
Part of it, yeah. Know something, right?
Yeah. So I can't think of anything else what they would
See, I just think the time that he left, then allegedly he just put the leash on the dog. Now I wonder, did he take the dog in the truck and leave the dog out at the park and the dog would run home? Or do you think he just left him in the backyard with the leash and the gate open?
That's what I was thinking, just left the gate open. And so the dog, and of course the dog's going to go out the gate and hang around because they say those dogs are real protective of their properties. And
right.
Yeah, I don't think he would have taken the dog out and let it go. I don't know if it would be coming. My dog wouldn't come back.
Well, was the gate open? I have to go back. The gate was open?
The neighbor said the gate was open, and she took the dog and put it back in the yard and shut the gate and left the leash on the dog. So, but I think the good evidence will be when they talk about the warehouse and the place where he made the weights to tie on to her.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll be getting to that soon. But
because everybody's saying there's no evidence here in the house, and there wasn't.
Well, he did. He did a pretty good job at whatever he did there, right? We're not finding. The rags. I don't know. I don't even know what they found on the rags. What they did, but.
Yeah, they look pretty dirty, especially for a housekeeper just being there. And
I think there was something that he washed his clothes and then he had the pizza or something, right? But then do you think they would still find that DNA on the washer and even on the I don't know. But then they could say, well, that could be her blood and his blood. I don't know. So I'm anxious to go through the rest and see what.
They did say the house did smell of cleaning solution, like bleach, strong odor of bleach. But people were thinking or talking like he strangled her, therefore there wouldn't be blood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't even know, because I haven't even gotten to the cadaver dogs, if they had picked up any scent in the house.
Well, you think they would pick it up on the truck in the back, or where he put her body. And then you would have thought there would have been cameras at the warehouse, at the storage place.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering what's up with that, that I haven't heard anybody talk about that happening.
Right, yeah. I'll just see what happens with that. But
so I'm sorry everything was confusing on that. But,
no. I just figured you'd be able to just, it's so much easier if someone just calls in and just straightens it out rather than me try to decipher the email, right?
I agree, and I've been trying for days to get your attention.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's so much easier just to, call in. So, yeah, I'm glad you called in, and, hope that you
tricked me. Okay.
continue to, and I'm going to see what Scooter's here now. She's, I don't know what she told me to let her know when my stuff came back on.
And my dogs are behaving themselves. So
Your what?
my dogs.
Yeah,
They're behaving.
They're behaving. Okay. So where do you live now? You live around that area?
I'm still in Modesto. The house I have on Severn is a rental. And then I have a house over on the north side of town, kind of almost by Villa Farms.
I know, somebody's saying, did you meet Detective Bercini? I didn't meet him. Are you talking to Maggie?
I haven't met him.
No, she hasn't met him either.
With our connection, it was at the parole office. And while we were still at the parole office, the big black car with black windows pulled up and took the guy away. So we didn't even, see in person the car. But very official, very like Men in Black kind of atmosphere is. And it was, and we didn't see the guy back. So we've often wondered if he collected the reward and took off or but I believe they wanted to get caught so they could explain themselves so that they don't get blamed for taking the lady.
And they wanted to know, you said you don't know what happened to these guys with the jewelry.
No. It wasn't in the news. It wasn't broadcasted. They did, I guess it was a parole agent that told my husband that, well, the cops were pleased that it was solved so that they could concentrate on Scott, quote, not just concentrate on finding Lacey, it was concentrate on Scott, because even 2 weeks afterwards, they were suspecting him big time. And that was before Amber came out, I believe. No. Now I'm not sure. I don't want to say that. Yeah. But in my mind, I didn't know anything about Amber. Maybe they knew, but I didn't, because there was a while they were recording the calls.
She was, yeah, but she seems very genuinely shocked. It didn't know that he was lying, about that. And I don't know. I just think.
No, I believe
genuine.
her.
Yeah, definitely.
I totally believe her. You just don't know who you see a guy and they're nice looking and they're clean cut. They don't look like a killer.
Right.
And here he's already talking about he lost his wife.
Right.
This will be his first Christmas without her. I mean, he's telling her that 2 weeks before he does it. So.
Calm Collective said, my opinion is Lacey knew something was wrong, but was so far in her pregnancy. It was Christmas, so she just went along for the family. Maybe she would have left him after the baby.
Yeah. And when Lacey's mom said that Scott was a perfect husband, I got that feeling, no way. There can't be a perfect husband. There's something wrong here.
Right. He was another one that I remember when I saw it and I said, oh gosh, this guy is guilty. And I remember they were saying, oh, the mother said, everything is good. But that can be something they're telling her to say, just like Kelsey Barrett's mother. She was told, not to say anything from what allegedly from what we've heard. That they suspected him because they were trying to, it could ruin the case. So she may have been told the exact same thing, but I was just saying, like, this guy, because he wasn't upset. He didn't, he just looked fine, and I understand people handle things differently, but there was, it wasn't like a numbness or like a kind of like a stupor kind of a look. It was just a different look that he had.
Well, and him selling her car,
Mm-hmm.
and then him looking to sell the
Then his
house.
hair color change and the money and all the IDs and there were
Yeah,
so many things.
and stringing Amber on. He's at the vigil, but yet on the phone with her, pretending he's in Paris.
Right, right, right.
Oh, it just mind blowing how fantasy land he went into,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And took us all with him.
Mm-hmm.
And we're still talking about it.
Yeah, well, now it's because now they're going to retry this penalty phase, and they may retry the whole trial. So
Right.
give him a whole new trial, and I don't know. I mean, because I think to me, and I don't know yet, because whatever new evidence that they're going to bring in now, if that new evidence, and they said it's going to be allowed in the penalty phase. How would they not, like, if they're going to introduce new evidence into the penalty phase, and let's say, that it made a big difference, like, wouldn't they that's why I think they're going to end up retrying the whole thing.
Yeah.
If they're going to introduce new evidence, I don't see how they can just do it in the penalty phase.
No. But they have to have permission to do that, right?
But they said they did. According to his sister, the one that's in law school, and his lawyer, they said either way, that's what she said. She said, we can't wait to introduce the new evidence. And they said, you're going to be able to introduce it in the penalty trial, even if he doesn't get the other appeal, to have the new trial. And she said, yes. And we can't wait to do that.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it for sure it won't be televised.
Yeah, why didn't they? Do you remember why they didn't televise it?
Gallegos wanted it because, he likes those cameras.
Right.
But the judge didn't want a mockery because of what has already, the mob people showing up at the jail and then at the house, that already it was a circus. And the judge didn't want that for their court. So they had a lottery and only so many people could get in.
Oh, I'm sorry, Com Collector. She said, I have dealt with this before. My mother-in-law was murdered in Modesto.
Oh, no.
Sorry, Com. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, that I'm sure deja vu brings back feelings. Sorry.
Yeah, well, they did televise. I watched. No, they didn't. You probably saw some bits and pieces, like with the verdict and stuff. But no, it wasn't televised. They had those lovely court drawings, and then recaps on Nancy Grace and stuff.
Now, is the one that lied, the juror, are charges going to be brought on her?
See, I don't know. The strawberry shortcake. I don't know.
I think the court should do that because, they always stress to tell the truth when you're a juror.
Well, it says that she didn't understand that a protection order was a lawsuit. That's what she's saying. She didn't realize that. She's saying she feels terrible about it. She didn't, do this because she had to be on the jury. She didn't know. She claims that constituted a lawsuit.
Yeah. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. I've been told that before. Not knowing is not a reason, but for something else, not this.
Yeah.
Well, okay, can I let you go now?
Yeah, sure. All right, but it was nice talking to you. Thanks for calling in, and we're going to go on with, I guess, as soon as, I don't know.
It was painless. I'll let everybody know. It was very nice meeting you, Carol.
Oh, very nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, bye-bye. Okay, so. I don't know what. You followed it heavily, but it's weird, like, you have been reading true crime for years, I was 12, and I would steal my mother's True Detective magazines. I think you've told me that before. Remember? Okay. So let's, hi Julie. So I don't know where, Scooter said she was going to come and read tonight, and now I don't know where the freak Scooter is. Okay. And I was in talking to her all day. Okay. All right. Well, I can start it until she gets herself in gear. Hopefully that'll be soon. Get my other one here. See here, yeah. Okay, so the next witness is. I've said Spurlock, but it's Derek. Let me see here. Derek, and then we have Spurlock, and then we have Mother's. Okay, so let's go to Spurlock. Okay, so this happened June 14th of 2004, and this is the direct examination by Rick DeStasso. So DeStasso, officer, you work for the Modesto Police Department? Correct. And how long have you been a sworn peace officer in the state of California? A little over 3 years. Were you working as a Modesto police officer on December 24th of 2002? Spurlock says I was. DeStasso says just briefly, what were your duties? Were you assigned to at that time, not on that date? Spurlock says I was assigned to patrol. The judge says, Officer Spurlock, can you pull the microphone down? Spurlock says, yes, sir. The judge says, there you go, go ahead. DeStasso says, and were you, as part of your patrol duties that evening, were you asked to assist Officer Evers in a missing persons investigation involving Lacey Peterson? And Spurlock says, I was. And DeStasso says, can you tell the jury, let's just start at the beginning, what happened? You're on duty somewhere in the city, correct? Spurlock says, correct. DeStasso says, and what happened? You got a call? Spurlock says, I was dispatched to assist Officer Evers. I just want to make sure that I put the thing where it's supposed to. I did. Okay. I just don't know why I'm thinking that. Okay. I was okay, and what happened? You got a call. I was dispatched to assist Officer Evers on a missing persons case over in the Beat 42 area, which was on Covina. DeStasso says, okay. When you say dispatched, does that mean that the dispatch center called you and said, go to this location? Oh, good. Okay. Oh, good. You're going to take... I thought I was like... left in lurch. I didn't want to put you on the spot if you didn't feel good.
No.
Oh, okay.
Who are we reading on?
We're on, I just started. We can go to Spurlock. We can start at the beginning, yeah, because it sounds weird when I'm reading both parts now. It's like...
What number is that one?
That is, let's see, number 27.
Okay.
You got it?
Got it.
Okay, so let's just start at the beginning because I wouldn't get far. Officer, you work for the Modesto Police Department?
Correct.
And how long have you been a sworn peace officer in the state of California?
A little over 3 years.
Were you working as a Modesto police officer on December 24th of 2002?
I was.
And just briefly, what duties were you assigned to at that time, not on that date?
I was assigned to patrol.
Okay, and then the judge, Officer Spurlock, can you pull the microphone down?
Yes, sir.
There you go. Go ahead. And were you, as part of your patrol duties that evening, were you asked to assist Officer Evers in a missing persons investigation involving Lacey Peterson?
I was.
And can you tell the jury, let's just start at the beginning, what happened? You're on duty somewhere in the city, correct?
Correct.
And what happened? You got a call?
I was dispatched to assist Officer Evers on a missing persons over in the Beat 42 area, which was on Covina.
Okay, and when you say dispatched, does that mean that the dispatch center called you and said, go to this location?
That's correct.
Okay, what happened? Where did you first arrive on this call?
Initially, I was dispatched to the 523 Covina address. Excuse me. At that point, listening to radio traffic, it was unclear whether or not we were to go to the Markley address or to the park due to the fact there was multiple people.
I'm sorry, at the what address?
Markley.
Go ahead, sir.
So at that point, after hearing Officer Evers putting himself en route to the East La Loma Park area, I then assisted myself to go that direction.
Okay, is this when you ended up going to East La Loma Park?
That's correct.
Is this the location here on People's 35 where the tennis courts are? And you can come up and take a look at it right here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead, have a seat. And after you got to the park, what happened next?
I went to the park after Officer Evers had already arrived, and there was a large group of people there. Officer Evers was speaking with some of them. I exited my patrol car and basically was officer observing the crowd so Officer Evers could do what he needed to do.
Okay, let me stop you. Was Officer Evers kind of the point person for this as far as contacting the family and talking to them?
Correct. He was the case officer.
Okay, and you were just assigned to assist?
That's correct.
Do you remember, do you have the printout at least showing what time you got to the park?
I do.
What time was that?
I think my printout showed around 1811 hours.
So that would be 6:11 p.m.?
6:11.
All right, and do you remember, was it light or dark?
Going, I think it was kind of dusk, dark, if I can remember correctly.
All right, what happened next?
After Officer Evers had spoken with some people there at the park, the other personnel were coming up to myself asking me what should we do, and I gave them a safety statement that if they're going to be out in the park, they need to stay together so that we don't end up looking for someone else in the same night.
Okay.
Got back into my patrol car after that.
All right, hold on. The people that were coming up to you, were those like family members, civilians?
Yeah, family members, civilians. I assume people that were in the park to look for Mrs. Peterson.
Okay. What happened next? You said you got back in your car?
I got back in my car, and Officer Evers informed me that we were going to go over to the Covina address.
Did you go there?
We did.
All right, and roughly, or maybe your printout shows, what time did you arrive at 523 Covina?
I think my printout shows something along the lines of 1825 hours, which would be 6:25.
Okay, and what happened when you got there?
Upon arriving, myself, Officer Evers, and Officer Lessinger went into the house to do a security check to make sure there was no one inside to clear it.
Okay, did you do that?
We did.
And if you look at People's 38, is that a, do you recognize that as a schematic diagram of 523 Covina?
I do.
And can you just, use the pointer? Can you just show the jury where it is that you went in the house and what you did? And just go ahead.
When we first got there, we came through the front portion.
Okay, you've got to keep your voice up so they can hear you.
Okay. As we went into the house, we entered through the courtyard, kind of a sidewalk here, As we entered through, I noticed that there was a bucket with 2 mops in it, and there was some moisture around the bucket as if it had just been recently used, and the moisture hadn't dried up yet. We continued on through. The door was unlocked. I noticed that most of the lights in the house were on. As we went inside to clear the house, I think Officer Evers kind of posted here, indicating to keep security on the hallway. Myself and Officer Letzinger kind of went in this direction. As we were going through this direction, there's like a small, like table or something sitting in this area here. I noticed there was a phone book. It was open up to a color page. There was some pizza, looked like vegetarian type pizza, several pieces missing, an open bottle of ranch sitting next to that. Continued on through the kitchen area and into the living room. Along the north wall, here there's a door that opens up into the backyard area, side yard area. At the base of the door, there's a rug. The rug appeared to be pushed up against that base. As we continued clearing, there's a washer and dryer type setup on the south corner. And on top of the washer and dryer, there were some what appeared to be balled up white towels that were still wet, with a lot of sand and dirt within it. After clearing this area, we came back, cleared the rest of the bedrooms one at a time, and then came back out. And Officer Evers at that time asked Mr. Peterson to do a walkthrough with us.
Okay. Go by question and answer now. I will, Your Honor. Question and answer, please. Let me ask you before we go through the walkthrough that you did with Mr. Peterson. Did you go into the backyard at all?
We did.
And go ahead, just tell me where you went through where. What door did you go out of?
Sorry, we exited through the living room door and into the backyard.
Okay, hold on a second. So did you go underneath like a little patio area?
Yeah, some kind of overhang type structure here that we exited under. And
all right, let me have you just label this so it's clear for the jury. Let's just call that patio.
Okay.
Can you just write on there where the patio was?
I believe the patio is going to be right in this area here.
Okay, and so you went, did you look there, through there?
We did.
And there's an area marked shed. Did you see like a little shed area?
There was an enclosure on this side, had a small opening. I believe there was some blue tarp material and some other stuff, some tools, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Inside the shed area.
And did you look in there?
Yes.
And go ahead. Where is the next part of the backyard that you went?
After clearing this area here, then we continued toward the pool direction. I cleared the pool, made sure there was nothing in the pool, and continued on to the backyard.
Uh-oh, Nana froze. Nana? Oh dear. Nana's frozen. I hope we're not frozen. Let me see. We didn't lose electricity or something. Let's check. Where's our thing? Hold on. I can't find my... Are we frozen? Can you see me? No, I don't think I'm frozen. Am I frozen? Can you guys hear me? Or is it just Nana that froze? Guys? Hello? Guys? Is it just me? Can you see me? Am I okay? Are we all frozen? We're all gone? Hello? Can someone answer me, please? Someone, anyone? Oh, you can see me and hear me? Thank you, Danielle. Okay, we'll wait for Nana. Poor Nana Patty, she froze. Nana just froze. It's cold over there. It might be a little cold. Hey, Emma. Hi, Augie. Hi, Carla. Hi, Muka. Hi, Lori. Hi, Larky. I haven't seen you in a long time, Larky. Just thinking about you the other day. My crazy life. Oh my gosh. I haven't seen you in a long time. Gigi. Mandy, I think you can hear and see me. Okay. Hi, Casey. All right, so we'll wait. Hi, Maureen. Okay, we'll wait. And Nan and Patty should make her way back in. Hi, Nora. Kevin Leonard. Kevin Leonard, your client, Scooter's becoming trouble. She used to be so dependable, not so much anymore. Hi, Suki. Hi, Sumac. Oh, Mr. Shannonite. Mr. Shannonite, I wish you would call me for like 5 minutes because there is like such a controversy going on that you're not a real person and that you come in to signal the end of the night for us. I really wish you would do something that would show you're a real person because I believe you're a real person, but someone's trying to tell me you're a figment. Okay.
I'm back.
Oh, there you are. Okay, yeah, I froze for, yeah, I was like, what happened? Okay.
Okay, I'll go back. You mean should I start reading that over again on Spurlock?
Yeah, is that, you were by the, I think
After
you were reading
clearing-
after clearing. Did you get through that? Yeah, okay, that's where you are. Yes, I guess start there.
Okay, after clearing this area here, then we continued toward the pool direction. I cleared the pool, made sure there was nothing in the pool, and continued on to the backyard and turned left. As I turned left, in the corner of the yard, there's a spa. And as you open the spa, we knew it was operating because it was quite cold that night and there was a large amount of steam that came out of the spa. Right here, there's a small crawl space to the house, underneath the house, which had multiple webs going across it. So obviously nothing was placed in there. No one was in there due to the fact that the webbing was there.
And when you say webs, you mean like spider webs?
Spider webs.
Okay, go ahead. Label on there the jacuzzi. Just call it jacuzzi or spa, whatever you want. Why don't you just write spa? It's shorter.
Okay, there's a spa in the corner area of the yard right there.
Okay, all right. And you told us about the crawl space. And where did you go next in the backyard?
Continued clearing around to the other side of the yard, and after doing so, came back through a kind of like French doors, I think it was, and on the steps here were a pair of shoes.
Objection. It's non-responsive and calls for a narrative. Narrative. Yeah, let me go a question and answer. Otherwise, we get objection after objection. So, right. Okay, so just stop. You came back around by the pool,
Uh-huh.
and then you said you went in by which door?
These doors right here.
Okay, and then did you see anything on the door, near the door?
There were some shoes, 2 pairs of shoes, like I think tennis shoes and maybe some sandals.
Okay, can you just write that? Just write tennis shoes and sandals right there. Okay, and then after you did that, you went back into the house?
Back into the house.
What happened next?
And that's when then Officer Evers asked Scott to come back inside to do a walkthrough with us.
Okay, when you say Scott, are you talking about the defendant, Scott Peterson?
Mr. Peterson, correct.
Do you recognize him as he sits over here in the courtroom today?
I do.
Prior to December 24th of 2002, had you ever had any contact with Mr. Peterson?
No, sir.
Did you know, by that I mean, did you even know of his existence?
No, sir.
Okay, what happened next? You said you had to walk through with Mr. Peterson?
Correct.
Okay, start at the very beginning, and I do have to kind of walk you through this. That's the way we kind of have to do it. So you went outside and you got him, and what happened next?
After coming inside, Officer Evers was the primary officer at this time. He was doing most of the talking with Mr. Peterson.
Uh-huh.
I believe he asked Mr. Peterson if he could locate for us Mrs. Peterson's purse, at which point he took us to the master bedroom, which is the bedroom that I'm pointing to, and to the closet. And inside the closet, he pointed out Mrs. Peterson's purse, which was hanging on a type hanger.
Okay, let me stop you. So after he pointed that out to you, what did you do next? What did you personally do?
After he pointed the purse out to me, I asked him, would it be okay if I could retrieve the purse? Of course, he said yes. And at that point, I opened the purse and asked him if he could make sure by me pointing out the items if everything appeared to be in her purse. Pulled out things like identification, some credit card stuff, and everything he said appeared to be there.
All right. And where did you, can you describe for the jury how you did that?
Sure.
Did you just pull it open or put it somewhere, or what did you do?
There was a bed, and I walked over to where the bed was located, and as I opened up the purse, kind of put the purse on the bed and kind of fumbled through picking out certain items, IDs, stuff like that, and was showing them to Mr. Peterson. After showing them to Mr. Peterson and he's confirming yes, that's her belongings and everything appeared to be there, I replaced the items back into the purse, and then I took the purse after being pretty confident that everything was there, placed the purse back on the hanger where I retrieved it from.
Now, hold on one second. Do you remember you listed items in your report or money and keys, and I think you said all pertinent information. Is that the stuff you're telling us about?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so after you put it back on the hanger, what happened next?
After putting that back on the hanger, as we started to go through other rooms and make sure nothing else was there, I noticed in the bedroom there was a clothes hamper that was pretty full of clothing, and I asked Mr. Peterson what if he had been working all day today, at which point I believe, if I can refer to my report.
Yeah, you can go ahead and have a seat again. That's fine.
I asked Mr. Peterson if...
Now hold on a second. He just wants to see what report you're referring to.
Sure.
Okay. So, you asked Mr. Peterson if he had been working that day?
Yes, sir. I asked Mr. Peterson if he had been working all day, and Mr. Peterson stated no, that he had gone fishing in the bay.
Okay, and what did you, what's the next thing that you... Okay, what happened next?
I asked Mr. Peterson exactly what kind of fishing he was doing, what kind of fishing he was fishing for today. And at that point, there was a pause. He hesitated in answering me. He had his blank look on his face for a second or so. His eyes shifted a little bit, and he kind of mumbled some stuff, but again blew off my question. Didn't really give me an answer.
Okay. At the time when he did that, did you press him really hard for it?
No.
All right.
Because it could have been just a natural response to what everything was going on at the time.
Okay. Did you ask him anything else?
I did.
And what else did you ask him?
I then asked Mr. Peterson if he could maybe describe what he was using as far as bait for lure. And again, I got the same type of response, kind of the blank stare, shifting of the eye kind of thing. He just really couldn't give me an answer again. And then something clicked, and he said I was using a silver lure, and he gave me a hand gesture of about 7 to 8 inches in length.
And did you ask him anything else?
I did. He was wearing some clothing that was pretty light, and I knew it was cold outside because I was cold that night or during that call. And I asked him if these were the clothes which he was wearing that he went fishing in, and he stated no, that he had changed. Assuming he changed, I thought, well, maybe he just put his clothes in the clothes hamper. So I asked him, did you place your clothes in the clothes hamper? And he stated, no, I washed them.
And did you ask him to show you where they were or anything of that nature?
I did not ask him to show me at that time. I assumed that they were still in the washer.
And did you ask him anything about his fishing gear, where he keeps his fishing stuff?
I did.
What did he say?
I asked Mr. Peterson that exact question, and he stated to me that he kept all his fishing gear at his storage facility for the company that he worked for.
And as you were walking him through the house, were you asking him if anything looked like it was out of place?
I did.
What did he say?
He stated that there was nothing appeared to be out of place.
And did you also, when you went through the house both times, did you also look through the house to see if something looked out of place to you?
I did.
And other than the things that you've told us about, the rug and the rags and the bucket, did anything appear to be out of place?
No, not really. I mean, everything appeared normal. Nothing really shuffled or broken, or the normal things you might see in an attack or some type of situation like that.
Okay. So what happened then after you asked him about the fishing, and where did that conversation take place?
It kind of occurred from his bedroom, the master bedroom where the purse was located, kind of in a walking and talking type situation from the other bedrooms and through the hallway to kind of the front entryway where the kitchen front door was at.
Okay. Just if you could, we haven't labeled this. Can you label what you're calling the front door? It's here, the courtyard where you walk through. Here, use that.
This area right here is where I consider the front door area.
Okay. Go ahead, have a seat. And after this conversation, then what happened next?
After the conversation, we pretty much finished looking through the house, and Scott was asked to go outside at that time, and he walked from the sitting room area, front door area, through the front door, and not closing the door all the way, kind of left maybe like a 7-inch to 5-inch gap where the door was opened.
And what happened next?
I loosely followed him at a distance, went to the front door. As he was stepping out of the front door and onto that sidewalk area, I heard what sounded like a cuss word, and if you want, I can say it in court.
Go ahead.
Sounded like the word duck, and it came through what sounded like gritted teeth.
For the record, it says the word that begins with an F. Okay, after you heard that, then I see objection as to his conclusion that what came through the gritted teeth. Sustained. The jury can disregard the word duck with an F can remain, but the word duck with an F can remain. Okay. Can you, I hate to put you on the spot and tell me if you can't, but can you demonstrate like how it sounded?
I can.
Well, go ahead.
It sounded something like duck, kind of like that. It wasn't very clear, but it was obviously through what appeared to be through some type of frustration. Like,
okay, and did you see objection, Your Honor? Motion to strike as to sustained. Calling for the defendant's state of mind. I also want to be heard. On what? Outside the presence. On the word? On the epithet? No, on the discovery violation. Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to excuse the jury then. I have to be back in the jury room for a second. And the jury exited the courtroom, and then they came back. Judge says, all right, let the record show the jury has filed out. Oh, that was him filing out. Yes, Mr. Garagos. And Garagos says, 1054 requires the government to or the people to provide all statements by the defendant in the discovery, and there's nothing in the discovery about either of these two statements. I'm asking the court to admonish the jury. What two statements? The word? The duck with an F. And the throwing of the item down. That's required under the discovery code. Yeah, you're supposed to give him 30 days. 30 days notice. It's not in any report, and it's all of a sudden it's fabricated and then it's told in the courtroom on the stand. I let it go once. It's now twice. I want an admonition to the jury to totally disregard this, to not only to view it with distrust, which is the specific jury instruction for any oral supposed statement, but I want them also directed that the prosecution deliberately, and that was a deliberate violation of 1054, and they're to be admonished and to disregard it. Yes? Judge, there's no deliberate violation here. They don't write every single thing that happened in their report. This is something that's told that's not in their reports. Hold on, let him finish. It's not in their reports. The fact that the defendant said a cuss word there's no discovery violation. It's not a statement of the defendant. It's just a word that he said. It's not a statement of the defendant. It's a word he said. What universe are we in? These statements, that's what statements are. The thing, Judge, they're words that defendants are statements. He can talk. What kind of BS is this? All day long, it's not in the report. That's a fact. There's nothing I can do about it. It's a discovery violation. Wait, you're both talking at the same time, and the court reporter can't write it down. Mr. Garagos, you're going to have to wait until the district attorney finishes, and I'll hear what you've got to say. Go ahead, Mr. DeSasso. It's not in the records, in the reports, I mean. That's true. If it's something you remember, there's other things, the clothing that's not in the report that he remembers. I can't do anything about the fact that the officer remembers something that's not in the report. Well, let me ask you this. Do you pre-try these officers? No, Your Honor. Well, that's part of the problem, then. Well, you expect me to believe that these guys pop up with the same memory independently and on the stand for the first time, and he didn't know it. He just kind of walked into that statement. He knew something was coming. I mean, it's beyond belief. First of all, I don't know what English school or what English language course Mr. DeStasso took, but his words spoken by the defendant are statements, and that's clearly under 1054. He's now done it twice. I let it go the first time. I established it was not in any reports. The officer said it wasn't in any of the reports. He just conceded it's not in any of the reports. It's nothing but a cheap shot, and another thing in a never-ending series of cheap shots in this prosecution. And I want to finish. Do you mind, Mr. DeStasso? And it's absolutely beyond dispute that under 1054, and I'm entitled to that, and if they didn't pre-try them, they're negligent. If they didn't pre-try them, it's ridiculous. If they pre-try them, then it's intentional. Either way, it's a violation. Judge, I mean, this is ridiculous. I haven't got a stitch. I've gotten barely any discovery from this defense team. He brings stuff in on a witness that we had Austin's jewelry, some receipts that I've never seen before at all. We don't say a word about it. And now all of a sudden, there's going to be this huge discovery violation, and that's ridiculous. He can cross-examine this officer. It's not in the report. That's a fact. The officer is going to say it's not in the report. All right, before everybody blows a gasket here, this is going to be a court ruling. I'm going to let it stand. Mr. Garagos, you can go ahead and cross-examine him. You can go ahead and cross-examine him too. And the fact that it was not in the police report, the fact that, he threw down the flashlight, that's what the officer testified. That's not in the police report. And these are things that come up. But if you pre-try these officers, sometimes they'll tell you what they're going to say. And then you should disclose that to the defense. But I'm not going to go through that and rigmarole and admonish them, because I don't think that's tantamount to a gross violation of 1054. but you can certainly cross-examine Mr. Garagos as you have done with the last officer, and that's not in the report, and so forth. Okay, bring in the jury. Actually, Your Honor, before we bring them in, let me finish something up. Okay. Does the court know what does the court... Hold on, what? I just want to make sure, I want to be completely accurate here. I don't want to mislead the court in any way. I did talk to the officer this morning about that, and that, about the statement, so I was aware of the statement. Okay. Yeah, now. No. Wait, here, excuse me. Wait, here we go. No, hold on a second. When I'm talking about pre-try, I thought we were talking about at the prelim or something like that. That's why I stood up here to make sure he has a duty to turn that over. Yeah, if the officer told you that morning, Mr. DeStasso, when you were pre-trying the officer, if there is something the officer is going to testify to, it's in addition to what's in the police report. I think the spirit of 1054 requires that you disclose that information to the defense. That's why I asked you. If you pre-try these officers, if the officer says, yeah, we were walking out, or I heard him say this word, this 4-letter word, then I think you have an obligation to disclose that to the defense. And so I'm going to ask you to be a little more careful in the future on something like that. I'm renewing my motion for an admonition. Short of an admonition, I'm moving for a mistrial. I don't believe that both officers said, hey, I don't need laughter from the audience on that. I am moving for a mistrial on the basis that when you have statements about the defendant making cuss words and the DA knew about it, his obligation is to tell me about it in advance. And I would like the court also to admonish people that if they're going to continue to make comments from the peanut gallery, then the court can clear the courtroom at any time, if that's going to be the thing. They always do that in the movies, They pound the gavel. One more word, I'm going to clear the courtroom. We don't do that. Normally don't do that. So, but I will ask the audience to keep their comments to themselves. First of all, wait, can I, go ahead. Let me just tell you now that on my own viewpoint on this, Mr. Garagos, the use of the word duck with an F in the front can be handled both ways. It could be beneficial to the defense. I understand. It could be out of frustration because he had lost his wife and didn't know what to do. So, I understand. So, why can't I have it prior to that witness? I'm saying you should. But you didn't get it, right? Right, so why? Okay, I already made my ruling. I don't want to revisit it again. I've given you the reason. I admonished Mr. DeStasso. I told him that if he pre-tries the officer, and if he says something that's over and above what contained in the police report, he should disclose that information to you, okay? Prior to them being on the stand. Yes, absolutely. Right. Before they take the stand. And Your Honor, I'll tell the court that, I'll definitely do that. I didn't think that this issue was all that big of a deal because I thought the court had I thought the same thing. Well, but I clearly agree. I should have told Mr. Garagos, and I will from now on. Yeah. On if there's anything... Please do, because we're going to get into this situation all the time. The discovery in this case is a constant source of irritation. There's all kinds of discovery in this case, and as I pointed out before, discovery's coming in here in bits and drabs, and you never know what's going to be coming up. So if you hear something from the officer before you put him on the stand, and you know about that's not contained in the report, you should let Mr. Garagos know it for obvious reasons so that we don't run into this again. And the request for a mistrial is denied. I don't believe this is a violation. The alleged violation goes and raises to such an extent that a mistrial should be declared because the word that the defendant's demeanor cuts both ways. So I don't think it's a big deal. All right, bring that jury back. Okay, do you remember your last question, Mr. DeStasso? I do, Your Honor. All right, next question. The record should reflect the jury is back in the jury box. Go ahead. Okay, after the defendant said what you thought was a curse word, what happened next?
Immediately following the cuss word, he threw his flashlight to the ground and then quickly retrieved the flashlight and continued walking out the front gate of the courtyard area.
Okay, what happened next?
After that, I was informed by Officer Evers that there was a vacant residence to the north at, I believe, 529 Covina, and was asked to go search that residence.
Okay, it's on the board there. You can see it. It's People's 38. It says vacant house. Can you just put the address above that? Well, I think we know where the house is located. Okay, so as long as the other officer testified it's the house next door, we know where it is. That's fine. What happened next? Did you search that house?
We did.
And did you find anything that led you to believe that there had been anything going on in that house?
No.
And what happened next?
After searching that house, then I was asked to begin searching the East La Loma Park area.
And did you do that?
I did.
Who did you do that with?
Myself and Officer Lessinger.
And where did you go?
We went north to a side entrance of the park, very small entrance. From that entrance, we went down the path and began our search of the woodline and park area westbound to the pump stations, maybe a quarter of a mile or something like that, and in a zigzag type pattern. So if there was someone lying in the brush, hopefully we would pick something up. Continued our search all the way down to the pump house, and there were other officers that I believe were searching up to the pump house, and we kind of met and swung it back east, searching along the creek bed and open field area, along the park on the north side, all the way back up to, I believe, the bridge area. And then as we got up to the bridge area, I saw Mr. Peterson's father-in-law.
Okay, and did you guys have a conversation then?
I did.
And what happened next?
I asked Mr.
Well, I mean, did you guys had a conversation with his father-in-law?
I did.
Okay, and was the defendant present?
No, he wasn't.
Okay, don't tell me about what you guys said. You had a conversation. What happened next?
After the conversation, I continued searching. My flashlight died, ran out of battery life, and I went back up to 523 Covina to retrieve another flashlight and to inform Officer Evers that at this point we had not found anything in the park as of yet.
And do you have any idea what time it was when you went back up to 523 Covina?
I do not.
Okay, what happened next?
After returning to get another flashlight, I was standing with Officer Evers, and Mr. Peterson walked up, asking if, I think he was asking something of an update, what was going on. I believe Officer Evers had said something to him, and then as we're still standing there, he's about maybe 5 to 7 feet from me. His father-in-law walks up to our group, and directly after walking up, he asked Scott Peterson if I can refer to my report real quick.
Go ahead, if that helps refresh your memory.
Okay.
May I approach? When you say father-in-law, are you talking about Mr. Gransky?
I'm sorry.
When you say father-in-law, are you talking about Mr. Gransky?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Right in this area, sir.
Okay. I assume you have this, Mr. Garagos? I do, but there's a little problem, Judge. Under 771, I'm entitled to everything that's on there that I don't have.
Those are my notes that I wrote, sir.
Right. Those are your own notes?
Yes, sir.
No, under 771, I'm entitled to that. So I'm going to ask that after direct, I be given a copy of that. Well, we'll give you a copy. Go ahead, Mr. DeStasso. Okay, so you walk. I mean, you're there, and Mr. Gransky says something. What does he say? Well, I want the record to reflect that he's now looking down and appears to be reading his report. And if he doesn't remember, the proper way to handle this, to ask him, for him to say, I don't remember, can I refresh my recollection? It's not for him to read the report and then testify. That's what you expect, but maybe that's not going to happen. Do you need to refresh your recollection?
Yes, sir. I asked.
Go ahead, refresh your recollection. You can read your report.
Thank you.
To refresh your recollection. Excuse me, please don't all talk at the same time. That's the reporter. She's getting very...
Okay.
Go ahead.
The father-in-law had asked Mr. Peterson if...
The record reflect that he is now just reading from his reports.
He had...
Yeah. Let me stop you.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on a second. You can't read from your report.
Okay.
I mean, you can use it to refresh your memory, but then you've got to testify from your memory.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The father-in-law walked up and asked Mr. Peterson if he had gone golfing as planned.
Okay. And what did the defendant say?
Again, there was a natural type pause, the same thing that I had seen inside, and at that time, Mr. Peterson answered no. I decided to go fishing, and that it was too cold to go golfing.
And did Mr. Gransky ask, did you hear Mr. Gransky ask Scott Peterson what time he left to go fishing?
Can I refer to my report?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
Just tell me when you're done.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I believe he asked him when he had gone fishing, and the reply was between 10 a.m. and 10:30.
Okay, and what's the next thing that happened?
The father-in-law, kind of looked at myself and Mr. Peterson and kind of asked him a kind of a question. Well, what were you fishing for at that time of the day? Kind of question. And there was no response from Mr. Peterson. He just simply kind of walked off.
And after that happened, what happened next?
After that, I then continued my search back into the park with a canine officer and another officer.
And who is the canine officer?
It was Officer Gonzalez.
Okay, and who was the other officer?
Can I refer to my report?
Go ahead.
Thanks. That was Officer Lessinger.
And where did you remain for the rest of your shift?
I continued searching the park. After searching the park for a number of hours, going through the creek, checking under logs, and those types of things, then I started checking the local parks in the area.
And when were you relieved of your duties for the night of investigating this case?
I think I was relieved of duty, around 7:30 in the morning.
So that would be 7:30 on the 25th, Christmas Day?
Yes, sir.
Did you do anything else? Did you personally do anything else related to the investigation of Lacey Peterson?
No, sir.
Nothing further, Your Honor. Okay, now the cross-examination by Mark Gergos. May I have a moment, Your Honor? Yes. Can I have a copy of the notes that he's got? Yes. You want to hand those over to Mr. Gergos so he could cross-examine with those? I'll turn your notes over so I can ask questions. I need to refer to your report. To just tell me, and you can do that.
Will do.
Officer, you had used, one of your reports, which I assume is the printout from the dispatch, to try to determine what time you arrived or what time you got a call on this case.
Yes, sir.
Now, what time was that?
I believe it was around 1750-something hours.
17?
I don't know if you would like me to...
Sometime a little bit before 6 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
And were you by yourself in that patrol car?
I was.
And where was the first place you went?
My first location was to respond to the location at 523 Covina.
Okay, and when you got to Covina, did you park and get out?
No,
And did you just drive by?
I initially just stopped and then heard the radio traffic and then continued on to East Loma Park.
Okay, fair statement that you were here at Covina and then went down. Which direction did you drive down to the park? Which direction?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would you show the jury exactly how you went?
I don't remember my exact direction, sir, other than it was eastbound towards East Loma Park.
So you got from here over to the parking lot, which is right here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you got to the parking lot, did you see Byron Duerfeld?
I think Sergeant Durfeld arrived sometime maybe after I did.
Okay, and when you got there, who was there? Was anybody there?
Officer Evers and lots of citizens and so forth.
Did you see Scott Peterson?
Yes, I did.
And he was there in the park?
Yes, sir.
Was he searching?
Yes, sir.
Did he have a flashlight?
I believe he did. Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you see a dog, which you later learned was the Golden Retriever?
I don't remember a dog, sir.
Okay. Did you see Sharon Rocha?
I saw many people. I didn't know anyone by name, sir.
Did you know Scott Peterson? As you sit here today, you have a memory of seeing Scott Peterson down there searching with a flashlight because you said you saw him later up at the house.
Yes, sir. Correct.
Okay. Now, when you went down there and you talked to Evers had never been to the house, correct?
Correct.
As far as you know.
As far as I know.
Okay, and shortly thereafter, does Letzinger show up?
Yes, sir.
And after that, does Duerfeld show up?
I don't know who showed up before who, but I know they were both at that location at some point in time.
Okay, and now at that point in time, did the three of you talk, Evers, Letzinger, and yourself?
I wouldn't say we got together and spoke about anything specific. It was more we were assisting officers. Officer Evers had decided to make the first move to go to the 523 Covina to make sure that everything was okay there. And then we started our search from there, sir.
And when you arrived at the park, did it appear to you that there were, you indicated there were some civilians there?
Yes, sir.
Approximately. How many?
A lot.
Okay, and people were what? Somewhat frantic?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Scott Peterson included?
Yes.
Okay. And as you're searching, they're yelling for the name Lacey, correct?
Yes, sir. Correct.
And it's a chaotic scene, right? That's chaotic, correct?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, and the three of you talk, and then you decide it might be better if you start back at the residence.
Correct.
Okay, at some point, does Duerfeld show up?
Yes.
Before you leave?
I believe so.
Okay, and this Duerfeld, you informed him of the same thing. You tell him there's a chaotic scene. Let's go up and start from the house. Somebody makes that decision to go back to the house.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, at that point, I guess you have been a patrol officer now for 3 years at that point. You had been a patrol officer for a year and a half at that point.
Yes, sir.
So you're not exactly running the show.
No.
Okay. And then you go back up to the house. Who's the first one there?
We all pretty much arrived kind of at the same time.
Okay, and you all three park in front of the house?
I don't know if we parked directly in front of the house, but it was close.
On the street?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so that point, there's a minimum of 3, later 4 patrol cars when that Duerfeld gets there.
Correct.
Okay, now, who does somebody secure that location? Does someone secure that location?
We automatically secured the location.
How do you do that?
We went in and did the security check and then ensured that no one else entered.
And your memory, is it it was you, Evers, and Letzinger who went in and did that?
My memory says that, yeah, I believe we all went in and did what we had to do as far as security checking the residents. Correct. Yes, sir.
And while you were doing that, was door fell there.
I don't believe he was with us inside, sir. No.
Okay, was he outside?
I don't know.
Okay, and when you came outside, did you see Scott Peterson at that point?
After the security check, sir?
After the security check, when I say security check, let's just run through this. Did you first do the perimeter of the house?
Interior first.
Interior, okay. Where did you enter from?
The front door.
What did you classify as what's marked here as the front door? That's what you classified it was?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you entered with Letzinger and Spurlock and Evers, and all three of you were there.
Correct.
The three of you walked through the house together, is that correct?
Yes.
And how long did it take you? How long did you spend in the house securing it?
I couldn't give you, I don't remember the exact time that it took to secure the house. I know it wasn't very fast due to the fact that we were checking to make sure no one was hiding or things of that nature.
Okay, and now when you did that, is it a fair statement that there were certain things that you thought were out of the ordinary?
I'm sorry, say that again, sir?
Were there certain things in that house that you thought were out of the ordinary?
I didn't see anything that made me believe that there was any kind of things out of the ordinary. It appeared to be a normal house.
As far as you were concerned, there was nothing suspicious inside that house.
No.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so as far as you're concerned, it appeared that the house looked normal and there was nothing suspicious and
Nothing broken, nothing turned over, nothing showing signs of struggle. I mean, there was a bunched up rug. There was a phone book open to a colored page with some information on it.
Did these mops cause you any concern?
They did.
They did?
Not so much concern other than the fact that there was moisture around them, like they had been just recently used.
Okay, now the floor itself, which is here. Do you have the binder, by the way? You have the levels binder in front of you with the pictures by any chance?
No, sir.
All right, let me show you 37B, which appears to be on the screen, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's the location, looking down the hallway, as if you took a picture basically from the front door, correct? Looking down towards the master bedroom.
Yes, sir.
Okay, those floors weren't wet, were they?
I don't remember if they were wet or not.
They didn't stick out. Oh, I'm sorry.
They didn't stick out as being wet.
Did you didn't put anything in the report that they were wet?
No, sir.
And you would have. I mean, an ambitious young rookie officer like yourself, you would have noted that in your report, wouldn't you?
I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I really don't know.
Were those floors wet over there?
I don't know. I don't remember if any floors were wet, sir.
Okay, I've got your report. There's nowhere in your report that it says that any floors were wet, correct?
Correct.
Now the bathroom. Again, I'm going to show you. Is this how the bathroom looked when you went in there?
I don't remember what the bathroom looked like when I was in there last, sir.
Okay. Is that, I mean, does that, want to make sure that we got the right exhibit number, 37D. Does that appear to be the same bathroom that's next to the master suite or the master bedroom?
I would assume so. Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that the condition that you saw when you went through to secure the house?
It could be, sir. I didn't recognize anything out of the ordinary that would strike me as being funny in that area.
Okay, and did you ask Mr. Peterson about this curling iron over here?
I did not, sir.
The straightener, whatever it is, now, did you go inside the nursery?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's the exhibit number on that?
37F, I believe.
Okay, and is that pretty much how it looked to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is this the bed that you sat down on in order to you place the purse on? And if you could find that picture and identify it for the record.
I believe it's 37I.
Okay. Is this the bed? If I were to tell you this is the bed in the master bedroom, would this be the bed and approximately right here in this area that looks a little bit depressed in that area? But that's where you were dealing with the purse?
Actually, would have been right toward the edge of the bed. I never sat down. It was just more or less something I could use to prop it up so I could use both hands to open up the purse.
On this side of the bed?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, that's what exhibit?
37I.
Okay, and this is the closet.
Yes, sir.
Did you open the doors?
I don't believe I opened the doors, sir. I don't remember.
Did Mr. Peterson open the doors when he walked down there to show you where the purse was?
I don't remember, sir.
Okay, and that's 37J.
Yes, sir.
Is this the closet, 37K, where the purse was?
Yes, sir, I believe so.
And is that the purse in 37L?
Yes, sir.
And who took that purse off that hook?
I did, sir.
Okay, and you placed it, as we indicated before, on this bed, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then the items that were taken out were placed on the bed, correct?
Items were taken out and basically hand shown as is this the ID? Is this her stuff?
Okay.
And then placed back into the purse.
Okay, and when you did that, you did that on the bed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, did you go inside the other closet, and what is the exhibit number?
37, either 0 or O or 0. I'm not sure which.
Okay, does that look like to you to be a closet with men's clothes in it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and this dining room over here, is this how the dining room table looked to you that evening?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you didn't set the table, did you?
No, sir.
Okay, and it was like that when you arrived and went through the house?
I believe everything was set in a Christmas type fashion.
Okay, just so as we're talking about the same room, that is what is marked as dining room on the schematic on 38.
I believe so, sir.
You got it. And now is this area where we saw the phone book that was open, is it right in this area?
Yes, sir.
And that's the kitchen?
Kitchen area, yes, sir.
Okay, did you ask Mr. Peterson about that mug right there?
No, sir.
No.
I don't believe so, sir.
Okay, and this is a view looking from the hallway where the master bedroom is in front of the house, isn't that correct? And then this is the phone book that was on the counter.
Yes. It would be a little off to the north of the hallway, I believe, actually.
Okay, it looks like that phone book is here on the edge of the counter, what we're looking at, and then as you go forward, it's still on the same spot. You just turned around. Whoever took the picture turned around and is now taking a picture towards the front of the house.
Right.
I got it. And now, after you went through the house, are these the towels you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You said they were the dirt. Is that where the cursor is right here?
Correct. Dirt, like sand and dirt smear.
And these were just on top of there, or just like that?
Yes, sir. Pretty much just piled up, balled up.
And when you say balled up, you mean in this fashion?
In that fashion.
Piled up.
Yes, sir.
And they weren't rolled together in a baseball fashion or anything like that.
No, sir.
Okay. Now the rug. Is that the way the rug looked?
Yes, it was kind of bunched up. I just remember it being bunched. I don't know if it was bunched north, south, east, or west. I just remember the rug was kind of out of position and bunched up.
Okay. And was there anything on the rug that you could see? I mean, any type of blood on the rug or anything whatsoever?
I don't see anything from here, sir.
That evening, did you look at it?
I looked at it.
You didn't see anything that caught your attention, did you?
No, sir.
And now, as you finished going through the house, you then this was your first time, the three of you. Then you go outside. Scott Peterson's there.
We go out of the house, clear the backyard.
Okay. And then when you say clear the backyard, you went through there with Mr. DeStasso. You went around, you looked at the pool, you looked at the crawl space, you looked in the spa. Is that basically around here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, you wrote down that there were some tennis shoes and sandals that were by the door.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you know what kind of shoes they were?
No, sir, I don't.
Have you ever seen a picture of those shoes, those sandals? Has anybody ever showed you a picture?
I don't believe so, sir.
Okay. So you haven't seen anything in the book that we've been flipping through here that would show you the pictures of the shoes or the sandals?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you, in one of those reports, there was an indication that there was some window that was cracked open. Do you know where that was?
Not that I can recall, sir.
Okay. Did you personally see any window cracked open?
Not that I can recall, sir.
Okay. Now after you, I've got it correct. The three of you go out into the inside of the house first, and then you do the perimeter of the house. Is that right?
Right.
Okay. You don't take any pictures. Lovell's not there yet. He's not taking pictures, correct?
Correct.
And at that point, the other than the officers coming in and out of the house, right? That's it?
When you say officers, who are you talking about, sir?
Other than somebody who's with the Modesto PD. You're not letting civilians walk in and out of the house at this point, are you?
Correct. We're also not letting just any officers walk in or out either. We're kind of keeping it to us three.
You're trying to secure the scene.
Yes, sir.
And if there is a scene, you want to make sure
Correct.
no evidence gets tampered with.
Right.
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 Now, by the way, how did you get into the house?
Through the front door.
And did Scott Peterson tell you that you could go through the front door?
I believe he gave consent to Officer Evers.
Okay. Do you know when that was done? In the park when you, if I understand correctly, you drive to the house, you don't stop, you get out, and then you go to the park. You meet up at the parking lot with Evers, and then you go to Scott Peterson, who's frantically searching. And something asked him if they got permission to go to the house, and he gives the guys permission to go into the house, and that's what you do.
Correct.
Okay, and you've done what I've described, which is the interior and the exterior or the perimeter, and then do you come out this front door? How did you, where did you go from the perimeter?
Back through the front door, and then that's when Officer Evers spoke with Mr. Peterson and brought him inside for the walkthrough.
Okay. Did Mr. Peterson say, "No, I'm not going in there for the walkthrough"?
I heard nothing of that nature.
Okay, he was cooperative, was he not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and did he appear to be upset to you?
Yes, I would say so.
Okay, so now when you see him and you're going through the house, what was the first spot that you went to? Was it the purse?
Yes, I believe we were trying to determine, Officer Evers was trying to determine if, in fact, her purse was missing or not. So I believe our first location was into the bedroom, the master bedroom.
Okay, and in this master bedroom, when you went through there, he identified the various items that were in the purse as you held out, correct?
Correct.
And did he say, "That's Lacey's wallet, that's Lacey's keys, there's no money missing," things of that nature?
Right, sir.
And one of the things you were looking to determine if there had been a potential robbery or something like that, correct?
Correct.
Or burglary, and he was cooperative in terms of being able to give you information.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and as you were doing that, where was Evers? Where was Evers there?
They were, yes. I believe they were close by.
How about that Letzinger?
I believe he was also close by.
Okay, now in the when you came in and you said that, I'm just going to jump back for a second.
Okay.
I missed a couple of things. There was, when you came in, you said you noticed some items that were in the house. And I think one of those things was a phone book, right? And then you said there was, I think, a box of pizza. Where did you see that in any of those pictures?
I don't see it in that picture, sir.
Now, how about in this one?
No.
Okay, that one?
No.
Those are all the pictures we got in the kitchen. You don't see it anywhere, do you?
No, sir.
Did none of... And if I got it correct, you all, you saw that when the three of you went in there your first time, correct?
Correct.
That's the way your report's written, right? Correct?
Uh-huh.
And now you notice that they there was a fresh, as you described it, a vegetarian type pizza, an open container of ranch dressing. Do you see that open container of ranch anywhere in any of these pictures?
No, sir.
Okay, and is it fair to say to you that between the time you made the first observations, and nobody was allowed in except specific officers and Mr. Peterson in the company of these officers?
Correct, sir.
Okay, and now the bunched up rug, was that, I mean, I think your testimony was you didn't know it was against the door, away from the door, which direction it was heading. Is that fair?
Right, it was bunched up.
Just bunched up somewhere near the door that leads out onto the patio.
Correct.
Okay, and then now did you say that you noticed that there were tennis shoes there out that door? Is that correct, right?
No, tennis shoes were... Want me to point on this?
Sure. Point to where they are.
I saw some shoes and I think some sandals on this ledge right here in front of the door.
Okay.
Which is a different door from this one.
And which door was that? Is that the French doors?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and did you have a look at those shoes or the sandals?
I just made a mental note that they were there.
Okay. And now when you took Scott, I'm going to jump back here to where we were before, into the back bedroom, and you're going to go through that person items. Did you ask him to take a walk through the house as well?
Yes, sir.
And you, Evers, and Letzinger accompanied him the whole time. Is that correct?
That's correct. Actually,
oh, I'm sorry.
Actually, Officer Evers he was the one in control of the asking him that of Mr. Peterson.
Okay. Then now, when did these questions exactly? Where in the house did these questions take place? Where he was that day?
While we were walking from room to room, I was walking with Mr. Peterson, asking him those questions.
And you were doing the questioning?
Yes, at that time.
Okay, and as you questioned him, specifically, he told you that he had left to go fishing sometime between 10 and 10:30. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you didn't ask him from where he had left to go fishing, did you?
No, sir. I don't believe I did.
Okay, you didn't ask him if he left from the warehouse or the house?
No, sir.
Okay, now, if I understood correctly, you also asked specifically what if he had been working all day and he said he had gone fishing, right?
Correct.
Okay, and then you asked him roughly, and this is your words, roughly, what time he left to go fishing, and he said earlier this morning. Is that right?
Yeah, he didn't give me a quick time statement about when he left or where from he left.
Okay, and he answered your question, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you didn't ask him when he said roughly, when you said earlier this morning, you didn't ask him what time, did you?
Can I refer to my report?
Sure.
Correct. It's not in there.
Okay, and then you asked him what had he gone fishing for, and he was kind of looking, as you said, it wasn't clicking.
Right.
Okay.
It was simple appearance. I'm sorry. It was simply appeared to be a change in his thought process to me.
Okay, and he was still, in your opinion, upset, was he not?
He had calmed down some since.
Okay, but he had been upset, isn't that correct?
He was previously.
Yes, And he was. And here you are going through his wife's things and trying to identify what's happened to his wife, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and he had been cooperative in telling you that he had been fishing, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then you started to ask him about what kind of bait do you fish?
Yes, sir.
Okay, bait is different than a lure, isn't it?
Correct.
To a fisherman.
Live versus lure.
Live versus
Allure.
a lure. Okay, and he just kind of told you and specifically said some type of silver lure, right?
He started stammering with his words, started mumbling, really not giving me a good answer what he was fishing with.
And you said, I believe when Mr. DeStasso was asking you questions, that it could have been a natural response to everything that was going on.
Sure, could have.
Okay, so when you say sure, could have, you mean that, you're changing subjects from Lacey to where he was and he's upset and it could have been just a natural response, correct?
Could have been.
Okay. And when he gave you that information, you're walking out, correct? Or he starts to walk out?
Can you be more specific? I don't.
I'm sorry, that was not artfully asked. You're in the master bedroom. You're leaving and going room to room at that point, correct?
Correct.
And as you're going room to room, this conversation is taking place as you're walking.
Correct.
Okay, and so as the two of you are walking, he's looking around to see if anything's out of place when this conversation is taking place. Isn't that correct?
He would pause to answer my questions and face me.
Okay.
So he wasn't, if you're asking me, was he walking and talking at the same time? No.
Okay.
He was stationary, standing in front of me.
Okay. When I asked you before, I thought I understood you to say that you guys were all going through this area in the house as you were having this conversation.
Right. Walking, going from room to room. We would stop, speak. He would answer, and then we would continue. That kind of.
So this was not as if you're sitting at a desk or over at that dining room table and you're having an interrogation.
No, sir.
Okay. It's as if you asked him to come into the house to see if anything is moving or anything is missing, right?
Right.
Okay. He's answering those questions. He's also focused on looking around the house to see if anything's missing because that's not what you've asked. That's what you've asked him to do, right?
Right. The way it occurred is kind of like Officer Evers asked him, well, can you see if there's anything missing in the room or anything that looks obviously wrong? He would go do what he had to do. No, everything looks fine. There was kind of a natural pause as we were walking from point A to point B and point C. And that's when I would ask him, those questions. And he would stop, speak with an answer, and then we would continue on. So it was kind of fluid.
Thank you. Is this a good time to take a lunch break? Okay, so they took a lunch break and they're back now. Last thing, when we left, I think the answer was it was kind of a natural pause as we were walking from point A to point B to point C, that I would ask you these questions and we would stop, speak, and answer, and then we would continue on, and so to you it was kind of fluid. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Now I assume as you're walking through the house, through here and...
Yes, sir.
Okay, into looking at the rooms like that, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and now from what door, if you know, did Scott Peterson exit?
The front door.
And it would have been right over here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that you testified today, I think it's your first time. It's not in your reports anywhere that at some point you hear him say something like, this was a display of emotion.
Yes, sir.
Okay, was his back to you?
The door was kind of open. I was kind of off to the side. My body was kind of looking out. It was open enough where I could see out, and his back was...
Was he as far away from you as I am to you right now?
I think a little closer, actually.
Okay, tell me when to stop.
I think it's about maybe that table's edge.
Right here?
Yes, sir.
Approximately, 14 feet to council table, about 10 feet.
Closer
hold
to...
on, hold on. That was the judge. I messed that one up. Approximately 14 feet to council table, about 10 feet. Closer to 6 or 7. I'll take your estimate. Okay. His back is to you as you're going out the door. What could you...
I had said about 10 feet.
He is sucking up. So halfway between the two. Is it back to you?
Partly, sir, yes.
Okay, and as he's walking out, you hear him say, or you see him, or you hear him, which is first?
Actually, I wouldn't say, I could actually see directly him, is what actually is back being, I think somebody messed up on all this typing.
Yeah, I know, it's weird, right?
Yeah, is what actually is back being kind of toward her, away from me. I do hear what sounded like the cuss word through what sounds like gritted teeth.
See any burned chicken anywhere when that happened?
No burned chicken. And then I see his arm go down, and then he quickly goes down, picks up, and keeps walking.
Okay, did you see that? You didn't write any of this in your report, did you?
No, sir.
Did you, was Letzinger there with you?
No, sir.
Okay, and you don't know where Letzinger it was?
I do not.
And last you saw him, he was back in here behind you, right?
Somewhere to my back. I don't know how close he was.
Is it a fair statement that as you're walking out, some of the discussion that you heard about, or as you are walking through the house, Letzinger was not walking with you and Mr. Peterson as you're having the discussion about fishing, right?
He's not standing directly next to me, no, but he's probably within earshot, yes.
But you think you hear him as he's walking out say, Duck with an F right under his breath. Is that correct?
Not under his breath, more like gritted teeth. That's the best example I can give you.
You didn't think that was important enough to put in your report now, is that correct?
No, not at the time. Primary report just helps me recollect on the occasion at the time.
From time to time, from first time that you told somebody about this was when?
That night.
That night, who did you tell?
I informed, I think, Officer Evers and I believe Sergeant Durfeld.
Did you look at their reports?
I briefly looked at their reports.
Not in any of their reports, is it?
I'd have to read the reports word for word. I do not know.
Do you have them with you here?
I think I might have them here.
Can you point to any place in any of those reports, where this incident is mentioned?
Is it okay to refer to the report, sir?
Sure. Can we take it on gospel that they are not in there? I can guarantee they are not anywhere in those reports. I'll stipulate to it. Rather than this officer read 10 minutes of his report, is there a stipulation that they are not in the reports? That was not included. Is it also a fair statement that by the next time you mentioned this to anybody was to Mr. DeStasso when you were talking to him before you testified?
That's correct.
When was that?
Within a couple of days ago, maybe. I don't remember when we last talked.
When?
Maybe 2 days, something, when I first got here.
Was that last week?
No, sir.
Over the weekend?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you didn't know what he was cussing or throwing the flashlight down for, did you?
No, sir. I mean, there was nothing. He didn't bump anything, if that's what you're asking. What you are asking me, or push him, or anything like that.
Your flashlight had lost the battery. Hadn't the battery had gone out on it?
Not at that time.
Later that evening?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you get mad and throw it down?
No, sir.
Do you have any idea whether or not he was upset because he had been in the house and Lacey's missing? And do you think or do you know if that's why he was upset? Objection. It calls for speculation. Sustained. You don't know why he was upset now, do you?
No.
Okay. You have any idea as you sit here?
I have an assumption.
But you don't know.
Not for a fact, no.
Now, after that, by the way, how did you know to search the house next door? Was it vacant? Peterson told you, didn't he?
I don't know who did, sir, to be honest with you. It was brought to our attention that the house might be vacant, so we searched the house.
Letzinger didn't know the house was vacant, is that right?
I do not know. You would have to ask him.
You didn't know the house was vacant.
Not until it was brought to my attention.
He didn't bring it to your attention, did he?
I don't recall.
That Doerfeld wasn't inside the house, right?
Right.
And other than Scott Peterson, there was nobody else that would have told you that the house next door is vacant.
Could have been a neighbor. I'm not sure.
Well, was there a neighbor inside the house?
No.
When you came back outside with Scott, did you follow Scott outside the house?
No, I went back into the house after closing the door.
So you closed the front door?
Yes.
And you conferenced with the other officers that were there with you?
Yes, sir.
At this point, did you guys go outside and actually talk to Doerfeld at this time?
Yes, sir.
And after you conferenced with Doerfeld, you went, next door to the vacant house?
Yes, sir.
Greg Reed was already in the house?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
The owner of the house?
I think his mother was the owner. I think she's passed away or something. I'm not sure.
Appeared to be the only guy who was in control of the house?
Correct.
And after that, where did you go to next?
After searching that house, I was then asked to go to the park, and I started searching the park.
Okay, and now when you searched the park, you were directed to what specific areas to search?
I was told to start at the path and work my way west and work myself down to the pump house and then come back.
Okay, and on People's 33 is a plot map of Covina location. Do you recognize that? You can lead him through it, Mr. Garagos. In the interest of time, you can show him the... Yeah, okay. You see where it says 523 Peterson House?
I do.
This is Covina?
Yes.
Edgebrook?
Yes.
End of Covina?
Right.
There's a path that leads right to the park?
Right.
And right down there, when you look to the left of the house, is that where you went on the path?
Yes.
Okay, and this was with who?
Officer Lessinger.
Okay, the two of you went down here. Quite a bit of vegetation on the side, isn't there?
I believe there was. There was vegetation on a fence. We also were checking. There's some vegetation up, I think, in front of 536.
Right here.
We started our search from 523 and just started canvassing each side of the road we went down.
You were just going down this kind of back and forth, 13 4th?
And toward the park, correct.
Toward the park. Go down the trail?
Correct.
Now you go into the park?
Correct.
Do you go to the left?
Correct.
Towards the footbridge that's over here on the side?
Actually, towards the pump house.
No, the pump house, which is next to, how far away is that from those restrooms?
I don't know exact distance, sir. It's a good distance.
A quarter of a mile or less?
Maybe a quarter mile or less.
Maybe a quarter of a mile. So you guys are searching in this direction, and at what point in time? What time is this?
I don't know the exact time at that point, sir.
Has Broccini showed up? You go down the trail. Did you see Broccini?
I don't remember.
Okay. Now, how long did you spend in the park?
A long time, until I searched the parts of the park, other parts, until daybreak, 7:30.
Did I miss a portion of what happened here? I mean, did I skip over the portion about Ron Gransky and Scott? Did that happen sometime when you left the house and before you went into the park?
No, that was after I came back. My flashlight had died. The FLIR was on scene. I came back up out of the park to get another flashlight.
Now, let me take you through this step by step, okay? You leave, Scott has left the house, and when you get down to the park, did you ever see Scott?
What is your question, sir?
You had left the house. You heard him say the duck with the F, right? He had thrown the flashlight down on the ground, right?
Right.
Then you close the door. You have a conference with your two officers.
Right.
You go outside. You talk to Dorfeld.
Right.
You then, if I understand correctly, you search the house next door, right?
Correct.
Okay. Was Scott with you when you went next door?
No.
Did you see where he went?
No.
Then after that, you start going back and forth towards his path, right?
Correct.
Okay. Then to make this try and cut this short, you went down to the footbridge.
To the pump house.
On your way to the pump house, your flashlight dies at some point.
Correct.
You come up to get another flashlight.
We make our turn. We start coming back along the creek, going through the creek, along the edge of the creek, make it past the footbridge to the footbridge. I see the father-in-law at the footbridge. We have a discussion. After the discussion, my light dies. The FLIR is en route. I come back to get another flashlight.
Where is Scott Peterson when you first see him?
I believe this all happened at 523 Covina.
At that point, you see Ron Gransky approach, right?
Correct.
And now when Ron Gransky approached, you said he had specifically asked Scott if he had gone golfing.
Can I refer to my report so that I'm absolutely correct?
Sure, I believe that's bait stamp 105640. Do you have that in front of you? You've got a, does that refresh your recollection by reading your report?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and now he has asked if he has gone golfing, right?
Correct.
This was in front of you.
Correct.
And Scott, let's see, the way it actually happened, the way you wrote it was Gransky says, "Where have you been this morning?" And then, without allowing Scott to answer, he asked him again, as if he had gone golfing as planned, correct?
Correct, I believe.
Rapid-fire questions so that he didn't even have a chance to answer.
Right, just kind of right after the other.
Okay, and Scott then quickly stated he had gone fishing due to the fact that it was too cold to go golfing, correct?
Correct.
And Gransky then asked Scott what time he left to go fishing, and Scott stated somewhere between 10 and 10:30, correct?
Correct.
And then Gransky says, well, let's see. And he asked him what he was fishing for at that time of the morning. Is that your testimony?
Kind of an open, not directly directed, but kind of like, what are you fishing for at that time of the morning?
Like he never expected anybody would be fishing at that time of the morning on that day before Christmas. Objection. Calls for speculation. Sustained. Was Gransky joking when he said it?
No, I don't think he was joking.
He seemed to be serious, right?
Seemed to be, yes.
And Scott basically got a little miffed, right? And he walked off, right? Objection. That calls for speculation. That's what he testified on direct. I think you can answer that.
I remember at that moment, Scott walked off.
He just turned on his heels and he walked right away.
Kind of just, there was that pause again, then just kind of shoved it off, walked away.
And did at any time, did Ron Gransky tell you that he had been fishing that day?
I don't believe so.
Did he tell you that at the exact same time that Scott Peterson was fishing, that he was fishing somewhere that day? Objection. It's been asked and answered. It's the same. Not of this witness. But I mean, he's already said he didn't tell you him that he was fishing? At any time did he tell you that he had been fishing? That's what has been asked and answered. At any time. All right, at any time. Did Mr. Gransky at all tell you that he had been fishing that day?
No, sir.
Now, you go down to the park, and when you're in the park, you're searching until 7:30, correct?
Roughly, yes.
You run into any witnesses or people you have sightings of certain things that they want to tell you?
No, sir.
Do you see any search party coming out there at about 6 o'clock in the morning?
I know there is other officers showing up, arriving on scene. I know the helicopter was circling around. I was busy looking, searching, trying to find Lacey.
Okay, did you talk or interact with any of the other search party that arrived, making an assumption? Because, we got some other testimony, but did you see any officers arrive at some time after 6 in the morning?
Probably around 6 o'clock in the morning, sir. I was probably knee-deep in water down in the middle of the creek, and the party was up above me. We were kind of just going through, searching for logs, maybe seeing if maybe she fell off and, that kind of thing. I didn't really see a whole lot of people until after I had come up out of the park. Then I actually went over, was checking other parks, so no.
Did you see the fire department?
No.
Did you see a kind of search and rescue teams with a Zodiac-style craft?
I believe that came after I left the park.
And you left the park at approximately 7:30.
I don't know when I left the park, sir. I know that I was relieved of duty at about 7:30. I know that I was over at the Tuolumne River Regional Park, which is some distance from there. I don't remember exactly what time I left the park. I continued searching until I went home.
And that same day, you said you were at the Tuolumne Park, Regional Park. How far away is that?
It's a pretty good distance. We finished our watch. I don't know how far.
What time were you over there?
Can I find it here somewhere? Excuse me. About 6:50, I think, was the time it was.
Can you give me a rough estimate? How far away? What was that? What's labeled here as Thousand Oaks Park?
Maybe 3 or 4 miles, maybe.
Did you walk there? You drive there?
Drive.
How long did you spend there that day searching? That time searching?
Not long. I don't know how exactly long it was, but I know from that time until about 7:30, I was relieved.
Thank you. I have no further questions. Redirect by Distasso. Okay, Officer Spurlock, when you were having this conversation with Scott Peterson about the fishing, Mr. Garagos asked you a bunch of questions about that, and I just want to start back at the park. You said when you saw Scott Peterson, can you describe exactly what his demeanor was? I think the question was asked, you saw a bunch of family members and Scott Peterson frantically searching, that kind of thing. But I just want to focus on what you saw Scott Peterson. Did you personally see Scott Peterson running around searching the park?
No, I did not.
Just tell us exactly what you saw, just him doing.
I saw Mr. Peterson. He seemed concerned. He had a look of concern on his face. I think he maybe had even had some tears in his eyes. But as far as frantic behavior, I wouldn't claim, just frantic concern.
You saw him concerned at the park. That's how you would describe it?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then back at the house, when you were doing the walkthrough in the house, how would you describe his behavior initially?
Initially at the house or compared to the park?
Initially at the house before you started asking about the fishing. So you get to the house, and can you kind of compare his behavior there at the house with what you saw at the park?
He was calmer at the house than he was at the park. He seemed to gain his composure as far as teary-eyed effect, calmer.
And then when you asked him questions about the items in Peterson's purse, was he able to answer your questions?
Very fluidly, without any hang-ups whatsoever.
So it wasn't like he is crying and sobbing and barely able to get the stuff out?
No, sir.
Oh, right. All right. Then did you notice any change in his demeanor from how he was initially at the house, what you had just described, to when you started asking the questions about the fishing?
Yes, I did. Like I said, his behavior changed a little bit as far as his characteristics. He became what appeared to me as being nervous after I asked the questions, a little fidgety.
Objection. A motion to strike. This is speculation. I'll let the answer stand. Overruled. Go ahead.
He just appeared more nervous and more standoffish. He became a little more quick with me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Quick in his answers to you?
Not so much. Willing to maybe to have a conversation with me as freely as we were before, as best I can describe it.
Okay, and then when you were asking these questions about the fishing, do you remember exactly when you asked him, what were you fishing for? Do you remember what his exact response was?
I don't remember the exact response. I remember that there was an unnatural pause, and I remember his...
Okay, hang on, Okay. Is that okay? Motion to strike. Unnatural pause. Argumentative. I think unnatural pause is argumentative. You can describe what he did and didn't do. Well, we'll do that. Just describe. Don't editorialize. Just describe exactly what he did.
There was a pause in his answer. His eyes went mid-level to my body, kind of searched back and forth, and then there was the answers after the fact.
Did he ever answer regarding the type of fish or what he was fishing for? Did he ever give you an answer to that?
No.
And when you talked about, let's leave the house now, when you went to the park, when you were searching the park area, just so the jury is clear, there are 2 footbridges in this park, correct? Do you know in O2 or not? Well, objection. Assumes fact, not in evidence. He's asking him now if he knows if there's 2 or not. Do you know whether or not, first of all, do you know how many footbridges there are in this park?
I know of 2 footbridges. The one they have is in near Moose Park. The other one is in the Loma Park area.
And when you're talking about meeting Mr. Gransky on the footbridge, and that is kind of, which footbridge were you talking about?
The East La Loma Park area.
And let me see if Moose Park is on here. This is People's 36. You can come up here for a second. This is the Moose Park parking lot. Is that where you know Moose Park to be?
Correct.
And this park is kind of a dry creek park complex broken up into these little parks. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then the footbridge. Do you see the footbridge over Scenic over here?
I do.
Okay. And is that the footbridge that you had the discussion on with Mr. Gransky?
Yes, sir.
And that's the one that's closest to Covina Trail?
Yes, sir.
And make sure we have the right footbridge. The trail, did you ever go up and down the trail at the end of Covina?
Yes, sir.
And do you know if you could drive a car down that trail?
I do not believe you can.
And one final question. Did you ever, what you have told us so far, that's all you did in this particular case. Is that right?
That's correct, sir.
You weren't involved in any other additional searches or anything else for Lacey Peterson?
No, sir.
So did you ever go out to the Berkeley Marina as part of this case?
No, sir.
Oh, that's all I have, Your Honor. Okay, recross by Mark Garagos. Now, you can certainly drive a car down into the park, can't you?
Yes, sir.
And you can certainly drive a car out of the park, can't you?
Yes, from the parking lot at East La Loma.
And in fact, that's why they have the parking lot, so cars can go in and out of the park. Is that right?
That's correct.
You noticed there was a laundry basket in the house on Covina when you went there, right? And when you secured the first, when you were back up there with Scott, correct?
Correct.
Is it talking about a hamper or a laundry basket? You use both. You don't use the term hamper in your report, correct?
No.
You call it a laundry basket.
I would assume so. There was clothing piled on it. I assumed it was a basket. I don't know what it was.
Plastic? Are we talking about the same thing? It looked to you like a wooden or two types of wood that kind of crossed with a bag that was placed in between, and then you would put the clothes inside of the bag.
Really couldn't, sir. I couldn't see the structure part of it. All I could see was the clothing piled on top of it.
Where was that located?
I believe it was in the corner of the room, sir.
In the master bedroom?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it looked to you like it was full of clothes, right?
Yes, sir.
And did you go through and get a look at the clothes that were in the basket or / hamper?
I don't believe so, sir, no.
Did you, when you were looking for items, look to see if anything at all of Lacey's was in that hamper or basket?
I don't think I did, sir.
Did you see anybody? Did you see Evers do it?
I don't think I saw anyone at that point, no.
And that would include Evers and Letzinger and Durfelt and Broccini. You didn't see anybody go through that hamper?
No, not that I can remember. It's possible, but not that I can remember.
Is it a fair statement that the hamper, to the best of your knowledge, after you went inside the location, that nobody was in there fooling around with the hamper after you secured the premises?
My assumption would be no, there was no one fooling around with anything, sir.
May I have just one moment? Yes. Thank you. I have no further questions. The witness may be excused. Yes, he may be excused. Officer, you can be excused. Oh, gosh. Oh, my goodness. That is crazy. So
Another long one.
It was a long one. Let me see where I can't even, I think my chat is on the other thing. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay, so. Hi, Mandy. Pitbull, nobody can find what you said yesterday about that parody. Scooter's been looking all day with an entourage. Diana, hi.
What's she looking for?
Parody of me, Pitbull. I don't know whether Pitbull was joking, because he said last night, did you see and I said, a new one? And he said, yeah, and Scooter's been looking for it all day. Mr. Shannonite just went in, and then he left. I know, I asked Mr. Shannonite if he would call. Mr. Shannonite. It's causing a lot of trouble, Mr. Shannonite. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. What is it? So, I think, let's see. What time is it? It's 4:30. Yeah, I think that's enough of the testimony for tonight, because I have to get up early. My daughter's going to call me at, I don't know what time. She's like, I'm going to call you at 6:30, 7 o'clock. So when I'm walking to the polling place, and I'm like, oh, okay, that'll be good. I'll just saying, go to bed. Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah, I've got to be that. And then we had I can't believe you said it last night that people were without electricity. And then, oh my gosh, we're without it today. I was like, oh, I can't believe this. And so I just
jinxed you.
I know. I was like, I can't believe this. I can't believe it. Because it was just, I knew it's so weird up here. Because if we get high winds, I'm like, oh, that's it. I know it's going out. I know it's going to go out. And it went out. I'm just like, this is just so ridiculous. I get so why don't they just cut the branches down? It seems so, I don't know, silly. But I guess they got it back up sooner than they expected anyway, because it wasn't supposed to be up until 6 in the morning. So it came back up like shortly before I got on, because I had started to do. I'm like, oh, I'll do some diamond painting. As soon as I did, the lights went back on.
Of course.
Scooter, who I know, Ivyland. Don't you worry.
Yeah, where's Scooter?
I think she's up to no good. Really, I think she's either stepping out on Dave or something, like she's got a new boyfriend or something. I don't know what it is, because she's like, probably she's going to say she's sleeping all of a sudden. And yeah, when does she ever sleep? Never.
Yeah. That would
Something's
be no.
going on. Yeah. I don't know what she's doing. I'm going to find out. And I'm going to get to Dave, give him the heads up that she's don't let her go home by herself, because I don't know what she's doing. But she's not here if she's telling you that. You're still there, Mr. Shannonite. Mr. Shannonite, can you call into Zoom for a minute and just say hello so that you prove that you're a real person? No, it really doesn't matter what you sound like. It's just because they think you're not a real person. So I say you are a real person. Tanya, hello ladies, I'm having trouble sleeping. Oh, you can't, Tanya? You're in good company, I would bet. Hi, Communique.
Hi, Communique.
Moo and Scoots are up to no good. I know, at least Moo made, she was here and I just don't know. Scooter's been acting erratic. She's like, I'll be there soon. I'm right here. As soon as I hear that you come on, I'm there. And then nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I even text her, and then she'll say, oh, I fell asleep. Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Likely story.
Yeah.
I know. More people hate their voices. So just call in, Mr. Shannonite. You don't even have to say anything. You just have to say, hi, this is Mr. Shannonite. I'm a real person. You don't have Zoom. Well, I can give you just a number. You don't even, I think you could just call in on the number. We just need your voice. She probably does hate us, Danielle. I'm sure that's what it is. I think she's sabotaging us, really, Danielle. I think she's setting us up to sabotage us, to bring us down, and then the whole channel and everything.
It's like you said you were going to read. Where are you?
Right, I know. And if you hadn't been here and rescued me, then I would have been there with oh my gosh, I think she set me up to fail. Again, I know. It's ridiculous. In California, they were going to stop doing the time change. Oh, yeah, I know. I hear that all the time, but they just keep doing it.
Scooter, your stuff's going to be in the street. You better watch out.
Oh, yes, I have seen that one. I have seen that, Pipple. Me saying, hi, 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 hi. Yeah, oh, yeah. I've seen that. You're the only one that doubted Mr. Okay, Leisha's the only one that doubted Mr. Shannonite. So, Lisa, how can Mr. Shannonite prove that he's real to you? If he calls in, will that prove that he's real to you? And then we can end the Mr. Shannonite? Hi, Dawn.
Thank you, Dawn. I've got to get a drink.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, I bet. It's not a bad one. She does. I just lost Pipple. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it, Pipple. I saw. I'm into the toy minis now, and think they are in stores. You've found some? Did you find some? She passed away, Casey.
Yeah, she passed away.
It's not Casbat. No, Alicia, it's a real guy. I don't know why you don't believe this. Can you just, if you send me an email here, if you just give Nightbot will put my email in, and then I'll just send you the number. This would mean a lot if you would just do this, because I don't doubt you at all. But Alicia does. It's not J Bells. It's not J Bells. It's not Casbat. It's not anybody like that. It's Mr. Shannonite. You haven't looked yet, but people are talking about the 5-pack at Sam's and Walmart. What do you mean by the 5-pack? You mean there are 5 balls in a pack? People in that group, you mean? She wouldn't even let me go. She said they are my Hollywood friends. Oh. Really, Kevin? We don't know what she's up to. She's certainly not acting like herself, and certainly not dependable anymore. She went from dependable to non-dependable. You think Mr. Shannonite is a woman? Okay. Mandy, is Mr. Shannonite a woman? Yes, Danielle, yeah. See, Diana agrees. No, Diana said she is a woman. That doesn't mean she's fake. Look at the one that's, oh, hi, this is not Tim Dar, it's Martha. I can vouch for Mr. Shannonite. I have seen him on another channel. He's a man. Okay. Mr. Shannonite is a man. So you're wrong. Oh my goodness. Mr. Shannonite, please just call in, Mr. Shannonite. Did you send, just let me know when you sent me the email so we can put this to bed tonight. Mr. Shannonite is a real man.
Lou High Scooter's probably buying some more of those books.
Yeah, I don't know what she's doing. She's up to no good, as I can tell you that. Did you get a voice verification on Mr. Shannonite? Not yet. That's what we're trying to do. But why don't you think Pitbull is fake? Or Mandy? Or Jeanette? Why just Mr. Shannonite? Or Diana? Well, you know, you've seen Diana, so you know she's not fake. Whisper to Me. Have you ever seen Whisper to Me? And that sounds like a pretty phony name, doesn't it? Whisper to Me. Yeah. And she's here all the time. Like, who would come here all the time that's real? She sounds fake. I've never heard her voice. Have you ever heard her voice? She's probably fake. Probably. Who else? Let's see. If I were to call in, you would think I was a man. Okay. It's okay. Because they are my friends on Facebook. Whisper to Me? I don't think so. She's not on Facebook. I don't think so. What about Lou? Lou can be fake. And Robbity Bob, he's really fake. Not whisper to me. Because she's not friends with me on Facebook. And I know that wouldn't fly. I'm Mr. Shannonite. Mandy Hall is Mr. Shannonite. Who is Lou? Lou's probably a faker. I think it's Jimmy upstairs pretending he's Lou.
We could all be fake.
We could all be fake, right? Mr. Shannonite? Hi, honey. Are you still here, Mr. Shannonite? Mandy Hall has seen him, and he is a man. I DM'd Carolyn, though, on Instagram so she can check me out. Communique is not fake, but I don't know what that means. Gigi?
I don't either.
Did your daughter get her living arrangements finalized? Oh, she's staying where she is. Jimmy is not Mr. Shannonite. You thought Sean Sneed was a man, but it's a woman. Correct. And a lot of people thought Newfie was a man, and Newfie's a woman. And a lot of people thought Snow Remover was a man, and Snow Remover is a woman. And a lot of people thought, what was the other one recently that everybody was like, oh, who is that, a man or a woman? And they're like, no, I'm a woman. It was very recently. The other night, as a matter of fact. I can't think of who it was now. But they were a woman. Oh, it's live action role play? Oh, okay. Yeah, live action role play probably. I don't know what that entails, but that's good, Robbity Bob. I thought. Spelling of the name, okay. Well, Sean's a woman now. I'm a woman. Oh, yeah, Gigi. Gigi was, I think, sometimes taken as a man. Gigi's a woman. Yeah, Lou is a woman. Lou's a woman. Yep. I think you've seen Robbity Bob. I think we all know who Robbity Bob is.
Did Mr. Shannonite leave?
I don't know. Where's Mr. Shannonite? Let me see if Mr. Shannonite emailed me. Let's see here. I'm not Mr. Shannonite. I have to answer something about diamond paintings. No Mr. Shannonite yet. Okay. No, Michaels is emailing me, telling me to not miss the holiday decor guide is in. And Joanne, new fabric projects for my table for Thanksgiving. But nothing from Shannonite. I love this because my son will use my Price Plus card at ShopRite, so they send me the digital receipt of everything they buy, so I see what my son and girlfriend are buying for groceries.
Well, are they eating healthy?
They spent they spent $195. Let's see, they bought grapes, cucumbers, Newman's own looks like is dressing or something. Let's see here. Sun chips, garden something, sun chips, French, AJ pancake syrup, radishes, Bertolli tomato and basil sauce, Bertolli traditional marinara, Skippy creamy peanut butter, russet potatoes, pesto classic, some organic lemonade or something. I think that's what that says. Barilla thin spaghetti, Barilla rotini, Barilla angel hair, something taco, something southwestern chicken, romaine, 2 things of romaine, eggplants, Eggland's Best, something Italian trio. Oh, I guess the thin sliced chicken, boar's head, ever roast chicken. Oh, she bought an 8-inch pumpkin pie. She doesn't know my son. My son doesn't eat any pumpkin pie that's not mine.
Uh-oh.
He even had the other girlfriend bought him one of the best bakeries here. He said, "Mom, I tasted it," and I said, "This is not my mother's pumpkin pie. This doesn't taste like my mother's pumpkin pie. It's going to be the same thing." They're always trying to find a pumpkin pie that will taste like mine, but nothing ever does. Oh gosh, London broil, yeah. So pretty much, I see there's like one thing of brownies there, but I'm sure that's my son because he's the only one that she doesn't eat anything chunky.
Is she a stick? Is she skinny?
Yes, very skinny. No, Mr. Shannonite? Now Alicia's going to carry on with that. You know that, right? She's going to carry on and on and on that Mr. Shannonite is fake.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to hear that every time Mr. Shannonite comes in, when he could have just solved it today. You don't like pumpkin pies? That's because you probably you didn't have mine, Gigi.
That's probably true because I've had pumpkin pie by someone that makes it really good.
Right.
And I like it, but if it's not made well.
Yeah, I know. I know exactly what he means because, like, I can very rarely eat anyone else's pumpkin pie, and there's some, especially like the store-made ones, they just taste really weird. They have something really weird in like them. I can just look at it and know what it tastes like. It's this really weird taste, and you can't have it. In fact, my daughter said to me, she goes like this, "Mom, I need your pumpkin pie recipe because Matt says he makes the best pumpkin pie, and I'm going to show him that he does not make the best pumpkin pie and the pecan pie." So I'm like, okay. So
did you give it to her?
I'm going to give it to her, yeah. But, oh gosh, it's so funny. But his last girlfriend, she was like, "So I'm going to need the rest." I'm like, "Yeah, no, not so much." Because I didn't think that one was going to last. And I'm like... I don't think so. She's like, "I can't believe it because it's like the best bakery around." And he's like, "No, this is not my mother's pumpkin pie." I'm going to ask him tomorrow, "How's that pumpkin pie you got at the store?" Gary, he's going to be like, "Oh, it was terrible."
It's not my mother's.
And I will probably, because the kids would ask me, because I probably will just throw the pie and I'll go down with the pie during the... Here, I felt like you might be wanting pie. Because I don't think he even knows that they're sending me the receipt.
That would blow his mind.
Probably, yeah. And where's our Sarah Nash? Sarah, I never got that recipe for those cookies. And have we seen Sarah since then? I think she's holding out on the cookie recipe.
Probably.
I betcha. I should get some more pumpkin tomorrow when I go out because I want to make those cookies again are really good too. Both with some of those. What did Communique say? Sweet potato pie? You say double yuck, Augie? The first time I found out about sweet potato pie was on Good Times. Whatever the superintendent was there, always had Florida's sweet potato pie. Like sweet potato pie, but it's a lot like pumpkin pie.
Uh-huh.
You like pumpkin soup? Yeah, I've made that too. Hi, Patricia. Did you decide? Well, Ivy Lynn, I was told Lisa H. First, Lisa D. wasn't driving well. Then Lisa H. said she couldn't leave her mother with anyone else, and could we postpone it? And then Nanette's been having to watch her daughter's kids, and then this wave of the ickies. So I said, well, all right. They said, could we wait until spring? And so what was I going to say? Yeah. Otherwise, Lisa H. would be all depressed, and Lisa D. wasn't driving well, and your son from Hawaii likes adds black olives to her potato, real whole olives, in her potato salad. Oh, her potato salad. And Danielle, right, has a leg out of commission, so it wasn't looking good for a lot of the people in the meetup. And I think there was somebody else that had something going on too. Mommy, Mr. Shannonite could be a leprechaun. He could be a leprechaun.
He may be making up spells now. You scared the leprechaun away.
Oh dear, really? He could be a leprechaun? Okay. Andy Hall, how fun. Do tell if he is a real man. Wait till spring and maybe I will fly out. Oh, that'd be fun, Suki. Talking too much about food, I know, and we didn't eat like a lot because we could only warm stuff up on the stove. But so everybody, just please write in the comments how sad you are that Scooter let everyone down again. Just in the comments, just see if you could tag her and say things like, I'm so surprised and shocked at your behavior, Scooter. This is not the Scooter that we know. Just leave her comments like that so she can come back on them. Didn't we do that to somebody else before? Probably was Scooter. Yeah, just let her know how disappointed. The Lucky Charms are magically delicious. No, but Happy Bee Cakes talks like that, Leisha. She really does, and she's real, and she's come on, and she has a channel, and she makes Happy Bee Cakes. There are no words, right, to Scooter. Absolutely. Is she hating again? Yes, Communique. Can you leave comments for her? Absolutely, High 61 to Scooter. How could you? Leave them in the regular comments on here so she's sure to get them.
Yeah, because who knows when these comments will show up.
Yeah, right, because this might be on, then she'll think, oh, everything's fine. Mm-hmm. Nobody's disappointed in me. I'm good.
She probably fell asleep.
Yeah, I watch her too. She's come here a few times, Happy Bee Cakes. Letting her, absolutely, Pipple. Let her know. Don't hold back. Don't sugarcoat it at all. Just let it all out that you're really disappointed. And tell her if Nana Patty hadn't come in, Carolyn would have been there reading all those parts alone, and she would have been, pulling her hair out by the time that I was halfway through. And I would have probably given up, thrown it on the floor, stepped on it, and then just closed the live because I would have had it. Probably.
I could see that happening.
Marianne, that's perfect. Yeah, so disappointed in you. I like sugar, but I didn't coat it with everything. Okay. Will she get pissed though? No, she won't get pissed. She'll realize the error of her ways.
She'll be laughing.
She won't get pissed. You can't really piss Scooter off. Even if you tried to really piss her off, she'd think you're joking.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have the ickies, Diana. No. I think she might be stepping out on us or something. I don't know. You are just being diligent at work and such, and now it's dark and snowy and windy, and you're extra miserable. Yeah, Ivy. I feel you. Okay, yeah, you do it, Augie. Don't you worry. If she gets pissed, you just blame it all on me. She won't get pissed, though. Hi, Carolyn. Do you remember you saying me in one of my first visits? I remember you saying hello to me on one of my first visits. I appreciate it. I hope you're well. Oh, thanks, Communique. I try to say hi to everybody, but sometimes I miss people. Scooter, where are you? I don't know, Suki. Write her a strongly worded comment.
Danielle, see, it sounds like you're going to need surgery.
Yeah, Danielle, I can't believe if your knee is that messed up, I can't even imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like something's, I'm sorry to say, something's like really messed up there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the doctor? You got your MRI? Oh. Yeah, he's probably going to tell you something. I mean, I pray not, but it sounds pretty bad after. It's been, how long has it been, Danielle? Like 6 weeks? You stopped by when I was reading. Can't really look at, I feel Scooter's up to something. I'm feeling you on that too, Pippo. Hi, Davida. How are you? Since October 17th. Is that okay? So it's not as long as I thought, but it's 3 weeks. Today's November 3rd. Today's my dad's birthday. Let's see. So the kneecap.
My mom's was the 1st.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Today's the 3rd, right?
Today's the 3rd, yeah. It's his birthday.
And tomorrow's my anniversary.
Oh, is it? Happy anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
You doing anything
Thanks.
special?
Not that I know of.
Where's Scoots? Davida, leave her a strongly worded comment because she's let us down again. She told me she would be here to do a reading, and if Nana Patty had not stepped in, I would have probably thrown all the computers on the floor and stepped on them and closed the live. Oh, really? Your mother's first child on November 2nd? Cool. She might be moonlighting. I think she's doing something, Marianne. You don't even know when TG is? What is TG? Thanksgiving? Oh. I think I would have a blast to hear you read all his voices. No, but it wasn't. I had started and it wasn't really a blast. Davida, how are the fires?
Oh, yeah, those are bad.
Yeah. Her son had to evacuate. What happened with your son? Did he get back in his house? Is it all right? I know I keep asking you and then I keep not seeing it.
The Scooter at home, or was she at Dave's?
She was at her house, and Dave wasn't coming until tomorrow, today.
Huh?
It's probably our last free night, and she was going to make it count. Okay, and his house is okay, Davida? He's back in his house? Oh, that's good. Hi, Julie. November 26th. I think it's on my brother's birthday this year then. Yeah, well, Grand Piano came in last night, so maybe they had a reunion or something. I don't know. Your dad was born on November 2nd? Wow. Scooter just texted you while having dinner. She ran into Larry King. Larry King at the club? Oh boy, I think he's free too. I think he broke up with that wife he had, the number 8 or something like that. I don't even know. Pretty sure that's over. Amazing out to go to sleep. Okay, we're gonna go to sleep too, Gigi, but remember to leave those comments. All right. Anyway, everybody. No, Larry's not passed away. No, Larry's still alive. He's very much alive. 100%. He's alive. Yes, Davida. Nana Patty is the best. Thank you, Nana Patty, for coming in and taking over for Scooter, because I know you've been reading a lot and your throat's probably very dry and you're consuming a lot of water because of it. And
That's okay.
It's okay because of her.
I enjoy it.
Okay, well, that's good. I mean, I'm glad you enjoy it, but, you know, I hate you have to be put on the spot like that, or, you know. And yeah, I know, it's rough, but, you know, she could, well, we'll see. But she ruined everything, right, Danielle? Absolutely. She just, you know, you can't count on her. You can't count on her, that's for sure now. Absolutely. All right, well, you know, it's a shame. But, all right. Well, we'll see you guys. Prayers for everyone that needs them. God bless. Love you guys. Thank you to the moderators that are in the chat. Thank you, Nana Patty and Mr. Shannonite. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Love you guys. Bye. God bless.
Bye. Love you. Good night.
Bye.